My stepdaughter's entitlement pushed me to my breaking point.
I'm done with you.
We, me, female 29, him, male 45, have been together for 2 years. That is a big... Yeah.
25 and 45?
Yeah.
After around that, you can do whatever.
We bought a house together. It has a fully furnished basement that we intended for out-of-town guests we occasionally have.
Okay, and they're smart.
Okay.
A lot of people have unfinished basements.
My husband has a 21-year-old daughter. Whoa.
Whoa. That must be fun. It's like you have a little
You're
friend.
8 years older than his daughter?
Hey, some people can do it.
I guess so. She was studying in the US. We live in Canada. In March, she called us and said she was pregnant and that her boyfriend had abandoned her. She was very stressed and quit school. She was supposed to temporarily move in with us until she got back on her feet. She has been living in the basement, which is basically a 2-bedroom apartment.
Time out.
Yeah. The fully furnished one.
The fully furnished one.
Mm-hmm.
We have definitely heard this story before, but from the perspective of the dad.
I don't
Remember?
remember this one. Which
I remember a similar story where, like, my daughter just got pregnant. I'm bringing her in, and my girlfriend doesn't approve.
I do kind of remember.
But I think they're closer in age.
Yeah.
But I've seen this from the other perspective.
Yeah, we've seen it all.
Okay, so now we're on. Okay.
We're on OP's perspective. She eats all her meals upstairs, and the baby is upstairs until bedtime. My husband and I work opposite shifts. We text and communicate all day, but our only intimate time is when one comes home early in the morning and the other is about to get ready for work. Our shower in the master bedroom is basically our only alone time. This morning, my stepdaughter said our shower is making noises because it's old. She said she can hear us and that we're disgusting. Okay.
All right.
Is she totally valid in being like, ew, my dad and his girlfriend are having spicy sleep? That's gross.
In the bathroom, especially.
Sure. However, you kind of just got to roll with the punches if you're 21 years old with a baby, staying with your dad and his new girlfriend.
I think they're married.
They might be married.
I think especially if they're married.
Yeah, husband, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You got to get over that, girl. You're 21.
Yeah.
You know how babies were made.
You were there.
Oh,
not that one, but you were in a situation where that happened.
My husband and I are normally very quiet, so I'm not sure what she's talking about.
I'm sorry. I lived in a house where I was next to the bathroom, and you can hear everything in the bathroom.
Yeah, you can hear everything in the bathroom.
You're right next to two.
I'm right next to it. You can hear everything in that bathroom. She said I need to stop because it grosses her out. I told her that not only do I not owe her any explanation, but I can do what I want in my house. She said she lives here, so she has a say. I said she's a guest, and guests normally move out eventually. She then started yelling that it's her dad's house, and then she'll always come first before some gold-digging witch. Dang! I replied that I make the same amount as her dad, and that we bought this place together.
Boom.
Yeah. Own her. I said she should be grateful that we welcomed her. By the way, this comes from Actual Mess 2961, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what
Surprisingly.
we do. Please let us know what you would do in the comments.
I would love to read them.
Please.
This is such a weird power play.
Yeah, I mean, again, OP is 8 years older.
Yeah. The stepdaughter was in kindergarten while you were in 7th grade.
Yeah, it is pretty hard to make that, I don't know. Yeah, just to keep up those power dynamics where you're saying, well, this is my house. And because it is your house. You're absolutely right. But also I see where she's coming from. Like, this is my dad, and my dad's dating a much younger woman who's only 8 years older than me. And I feel like I'm being ousted of the house. But I think it's on her dad to talk to her.
Yeah, what does the dad have to think?
I think the dad needs to go to his daughter and say, hey, you're an adult.
Side with the wife?
Yeah, I think so.
Because the only problem is them having the spiciness in the bathroom.
I think he just has to go to her and say, hey, if you want to live with us for free, you kind of have to put up with some stuff and let us have our personal relationship.
Even better, hey, if you want to live with us for free, here's some headphones.
Yeah.
Here's some
We got some
baby-sized
earplugs.
headphones.
Yeah, baby's
For both of
fine.
you guys.
She continued screaming and she left. And then I left. Later, I got a text from my husband asking what was going on because his daughter was spiraling. I explained everything, and he said that what I said was not very kind, but that we would talk later. Was I a knucklehead to my stepdaughter? And there are some comments, but what do you think?
Dude, sometimes you just gotta,
be a little bit of a knucklehead to your stepdaughter.
Oh, I was just going to say, sometimes you got to get your rocks off and the beans got to be on fire.
What?
People have needs, Sophia.
Yes, sure.
And if you take those needs away from people, this woman could get a lot more uglier.
It's true, I guess.
Think about a woman that is having this conversation and she got laid the day of. And now think of a woman that hasn't been laid in a month because of this person she's arguing with. Which one would you rather have a conversation with?
You know what? You're right. I'll give you that one.
Thank you. That's my thought.
Comments. Playful Frosting says, problem is you're not much older than her and she doesn't respect you. Yeah, that's the real issue. She sees you as like, yes, an older person than her, but not as a mentor, not as like, you're not a guardian, of course. You're not a parent.
But OP's at an age where you start forgetting how old they are. After you're in your late 20s, people are like, how old are you?
You're just old.
It's not a thing anymore.
OP says she really doesn't, sadly. Negative Till says, yeah, this is definitely the issue. I wouldn't even want to call a woman 8 years older than me my stepmother. That's just too weird. But she should show you respect in your home. Next time she acts out, ask her dad to handle it. If she thinks it's so disgusting, she can talk to him about it. Puzzled Fix says, as a non-paying guest, I would never criticize my hosts. If they were intimate in the lounge room at 3 p.m. every day, I'd avoid the lounge room at 3 p.m. every day and keep my grateful mouth shut. It's not my home. It's theirs. If the conversation with your husband doesn't end in, I'll tell my daughter to mind her own business, I'd end the relationship. Life is way too short to put up with mistreatment in your own home. OP says, not just non-paying, we provide food and childcare too when she goes out with friends, which is a lot. Coyote Lydius says, you in particular need to withdraw the free childcare. Since you work opposite shifts from your husband, is it really you who has been watching the baby? Don't do that anymore. Discuss this with your husband. There is absolutely no reason to watch her baby while she goes out to have fun. She's a parent now. Make her realize that. Unless you're willing to basically raise the baby for her. OP says, I have talked to both of them many times. It's always something happens, and my husband begs that this is the last time and that his daughter needs to get out for her mental health. Then I get guilt-tripped. Pibia and Peaky's mom says, your husband seems to be the problem here, allowing his daughter to act like a child and not contribute.
Yeah, bro hasn't said anything.
No, he's just like, hey, that wasn't very nice of you. To OP. That's it. That's all we've got.
He is in a sticky situation.
He's like, my daughter and my 28, 29-year-old girlfriend.
My hot 28-year-old wife.
Yeah.
Either side he takes, he's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah. It just doesn't work out for him. She should appreciate what you both are doing for her, and it doesn't seem like she does. Her apology is definitely needed for her to continue living there after what she said to you and the names she called you. I would definitely stop the free childcare. And there is an update, but
I would love
to
see stepdaughter's point of view.
Yeah. What, like, is OP being, is there any other comments that OP's made or anything?
I usually don't want that information, but for this one,
I would love to know.
Yeah, right?
At this point, I do think that you need to step back and just not interact with stepdaughter anymore. I agree with the commenter saying, like, don't offer childcare. And then you have a conversation with your husband and say, okay, you know what? If she is upset with my presence and is ungrateful of the help that I've given, then you take over. You tell her.
Sadly, in the movies, there's that stepmother dynamic, and at the end of the movie, they're best friends.
They're besties. Maybe.
How can we accomplish that in real life?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. Update. I promised to update after my talk with my husband. So here it is. He sat both of us down and said we cannot live like this.
All right.
There has been name calling and giving each other attitude. He suggested that we all apologize and move on and said he would start.
Oh, no.
I hate that this kind of feels like a dad parenting his two daughters. Is that just me?
No, you're right.
I don't like that.
Because in this dynamic, you have to speak to a girl and to a queen and lay down the law between two of them. And right now you're talking to two girls and not a queen and a girl.
True. He then turned to his daughter and said he was sorry if she hurt us, that it must have been very traumatizing for her. I'm sorry. What? It must have been traumatizing for her. Okay, we're going a little too far.
Sorry, it's so traumatizing when I'm just doing my
Yeah.
life. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What? She's 21. She had a baby.
She knows how this goes, guys.
She needs to get over herself.
So time out. If you're living with your parents and you're hearing this,
Well, yeah, it's awful. I'm like, ew, gross. I'm out of here. I leave.
but you can't right now because you just had a kid and you're 21.
I can't leave the house.
Well, I mean, you can't like move out.
Oh yeah, I just leave the house.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
all
take
right,
the
cool.
baby outside. We go on a walk.
Stroll time.
Easy.
Oh, look. There's Sophia on her 3 p.m. daily stroll.
She's always going on strolls at 3 p.m. What's up with that? When it was my turn, I said I was not sorry at all because there's no way she hurt us. I work long hours and have been a full-time maid for his daughter.
And a woman has needs.
I also said that she calls me names all the time despite everything I do for her. I said I was done doing anything for her. I said to clean up her own mess, pick her baby's dirty diapers off the living room floor, clean the dang bathroom, cook her own food, do her own laundry, and that I am not watching her baby ever again.
I draw the line at laundry.
Yeah.
You're doing her laundry?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's so easy to do laundry. If you have an in-unit, some people don't have in-unit, and that is hard because they have to come to their friend's house and do all their laundry there.
Yeah. I currently have all my laundry folded on my floor, not put up. So.
Riley you do so much laundry.
I'm sorry.
Astounding.
But when do I do it?
On the weekend. Yeah, that's true. He comes in with like 3 bags of laundry.
I try to get it all done in a day, but I get so caught up in the day that I can't, and I feel bad.
It's fine. It only affected me this weekend when I wanted to wear some tights, but I just wore them.
Sent her $5 and told her to forget about it.
I didn't need it. I'm gonna send that back to you.
Dude, just forget about it. It's fine.
I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy you a treat.
Just use it to take it to like I don't know, like the detergent.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a treat.
Just get detergent.
All right.
That's my share of detergent.
That's your treat. She got angry and yelled at her dad, saying, "Look how she treats me." I told my husband, this is how she appreciates all the work I do after a 12-hour shift. She is not only ungrateful, she expects it.
Okay.
I mean, okay, I don't want to say this poor guy because I think he is, contributing to a lot of the problems in this house, but also like, rough, dude.
It is rough.
He's just like.
Yeah, right? Because if he didn't sit them down side by side, the other option is to have his wife beside of him and then team up on the daughter, which that isn't good.
No.
I think he needs a mediator.
I think he needs another third party. Or I guess a fourth party.
Yeah, just to kind of like.
Yeah. He's like, no, what do you think?
Okay.
Everyone gets a lawyer.
Are there mediators to hire? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Not a counselor, but a mediator.
Maybe. I feel like there's got to be. There's a job for everyone. He kept saying that both of us needed to stop and that we should find a way forward. I told him either she leaves or I do. I said that if I leave, I'm selling the house and getting my share of the assets. He kept saying I was being ridiculous. She then called me an evil witch and said it unalives her that I do not have a baby, and that's why I'm jealous. I didn't even bother replying to her. I'm done talking to her. Her dad didn't even say one word to her. I told my husband to decide. He said he does not want to lose me, but she is his daughter and she can stay as long as she wants. Well, not in this house, I guess, because OP's taking the house with her. I told him I would talk to a lawyer about filing for divorce and selling our assets. Dang.
Whoa.
Dang. As of now, I will not be lifting a finger for either of them. He tried to talk to me, but I said I'm not interested. I'm going to my parents for the holidays alone. Merry Christmas to me. And there are some comments, but like...
Is that a bit much?
It does feel like a lot. However, OP seems to have been kind of made to be the caretaker for both his adult daughter, who again is only 8 years younger than her, and fully capable of doing her own laundry, of feeding herself, and OP, who has a full-time job, apparently 12-hour shifts, which is crazy.
Is coming home
And having to take care of 2 people, a baby and an adult girl who totally could look after herself, but is not.
And now is realizing
that she's never going to be the priority in this family. And even if, maybe OP is thinking about like, oh, I want kids soon. Or, in the next couple of years, I was thinking that we would have our own family. And she's got a really great deal here she being OP's husband's daughter, why would she ever leave, you know?
Yeah.
And if he said she can stay as long as she wants, why would she ever leave?
And OP's under the assumption she's just here for a temporary time.
Yeah. Comments. True Believer says, wow, good for you. Your stepdaughter is an entitled little witch, and now she's daddy's problem. OP says, I'm more angry at my soon-to-be ex-husband. True Believer says you should be. He has raised her to be spoiled and believes you need to spoil her too. He is doing her a huge disservice by not demanding she pull her own weight in your household and treat you respectfully. I wonder how the relationship will fare when your husband no longer has you to clean up after her. And Black Cobra says, I don't blame him for allowing his daughter and grandchild to stay, but the lack of respect is mind-boggling. He'll probably come around once another plan is determined. Divorce and splitting of assets is incredibly painful. Can't help but think the bizarre 16-year age gap played at least a part of a role in this.
Oh, between...
Yeah, OP and her husband. Stunned Disbelief says he'll come around when he starts coming home to a disaster house and a daughter who expects to go out and party. And OP isn't there to take care of it. OP, proud that you stood up for yourself, but going forward, realize that large age gaps like the one you had fail more often than they succeed for a whole host of reasons, including life experience, life stages, and especially when there are kids that are close in age to the new spouse.
I don't know if that's
strong.
like
It's not
the whole
always
problem.
true, but I think the issue here is that he had a daughter and was prioritizing her more than, you.
That and respect
Mhm.
all around, because everyone was like,
Yeah.
oh, the maid's back.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Jane Austen Astronaut says, oh yeah, I caught that age gap too. OP's husband thought he was getting a maid in OP that he could sleep with. Too bad for him. She has her own money and isn't dependent on him. It means it's easier for her to walk away. And that is the end of that story.
That was a brutal comment.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. OP, I do think it is the best for you to walk away from the situation. Okay, I think that OP approached this whole issue very volatilely and just came at it with like arguments, yelling at daughter, and daughter was matching that energy. And there wasn't really any attempt to compromise. However, it also seems like at the end of the day, your husband's daughter was never going to respect you, and your husband was always going to side with her. So,
And it seemed like OP Loki didn't have the peace to compromise or the peace to think that way.
yeah.
12-hour shift.
Yeah.
Dude, after working here for 12 hours, the last thing I want to do is
Take care of another baby.
take care of another baby, sweep laundry. Dude, no. Heck
He does
no.
it on the weekend.
That's right. I cleaned this morning because my roommate's coming back.
Oh, nice.
I forgot. Not saying the doors were dirty or the floors were dirty, but I was like, oh, wow, I forget to sweep something.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't, like, whenever you sweep, you don't realize that there's stuff on the ground. And then whenever you start sweeping, you're like,
You're
there's
dang,
everything's
there's
on the
a lot
ground.
of stuff on the ground. Do you guys do no shoes in your house, or is it like kind of?
Yeah, sometimes we do, but it's like mostly we keep it like by the door. It's not like, oh my God, you have shoes on. It's more like we don't walk around all day with them on.
Yeah, for sure. But like, there's sometimes on.
Yeah. Like, oh, I need to grab my keys. Boom.
Yeah. I run a tight ship,
She does.
and you have to walk the plank if you're wearing shoes in my house.
She called you out. I'm just like, dude, I'm going to the bathroom and leaving. My boots are tied. I am not about to spend 2 minutes when I'm about to piss my pants.
Yeah. Well, your house, your rules. But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
My girlfriend is making me choose between her and my pregnant daughter.
It's totally reasonable, perfectly good thing to ask.
I, 40 male, have an 18-year-old daughter with an ex of mine. We'll call her Maddie. We divorced when she was 7, so I have her 3 weekends a month. Her mom moved to a suburb almost an hour outside of the city to be closer with her family and for a better school. My work was in the city, and after a while, Maddie got sick of all the driving and asked if we could go to a different schedule. By the way, this comes from Cramping My Style, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. My name's Riley.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Dakota.
And OP says, we talk most days on the phone, and I've been very involved in her life. She's a great student, graduate with over a 4.0, has a lot of friends, and a very nice boyfriend. She has no idea what she wants to do with her life, and has already decided to defer her scholarship to a year to take classes at the community college and work. I also have a girlfriend, Vera, 37 female, and she gets along great with Maddie. We've been together about 2 years, and she just moved into my house a few months ago. Her roommate got married, and she couldn't afford rent alone, so we'd been together almost 2 years, and I was considering proposing.
Ooh.
So it seems like a good idea. She pays the electric and water bills, but my house is paid off. So I just pay taxes, insurance, and other utilities. It's been great. I didn't really date much the past few years between Maddie and work, so it's been nice having someone always around. Vera doesn't want kids of her own, and I don't want any more, so it works out well. So for all that, Maddie is pregnant, and her mom has punted her out. Her boyfriend has another year left of nursing school and lives in a college apartment with roommates. She is, of course, staying here for now and found out late she's due in January.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh. I'm just hoping the boyfriend becomes a nurse and then she gets pregnant. Or no. She gives birth and like they're in a car and then he was able to handle it.
He knows how to handle it.
K-pop drama.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she's due in January, I mean, he's probably done in the spring. So, yeah.
3 months too late.
But yikes, dude. Her mom kicked her out
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
but
like-
also, too, like, she might not be able to stay at the college housing with him if it's, like, not a co-ed thing or, you know.
Well, I
feel
don't
like
know.
they
Think
keep
about
her
a
out.
college apartment and
Well,
you're pregnant and he has roommates that are also in college
What do you
that are
mean?
guys.
what do you mean?
I wouldn't want to do that.
Like
As a
stay there?
woman that is pregnant, being in an apartment with college dudes, heck no.
You're not doing that? You're not doing
No.
that as a woman?
I'm not.
Is it-
Dakota, are you doing that as a woman?
I'm gonna try to not for sure, but I thought it was really funny how when you said that, it sounded you were like, as a woman who's
Yeah,
pregnant in a college
That's how I
dorm.
heard it, too.
She and her boyfriend went over the options and decided to keep the baby. She told me very meekly and asked if she could stay. Oh, can I stay?
Aw.
I told her, of course. She knows this is disappointing, but she'll never stop being my baby. And if this is what's going to happen, I'm here to support her within reason. As in, I'm fine babysitting if she has work or class, and she will keep working and going to school. But I'm not babysitting for her to party or hang out with friends. If the boyfriend bails, which I was as kind as I could be, but told her it even happens with the nicest boys, she would need to file for child support. And I would give her grace before and after birth. But when she's recovered, she will go back to doing chores on top of baby ones. This seems like a pretty nice little thing going on here.
Obviously, you know, with details, like, we'll see how that plays out and stuff. But that is nice that, like, at least he's aware that, you know, she would have to recover, which
Yeah.
takes a long time that before, you know, taking,
How long?
I don't know. a
You don't
long
remember? You
time.
don't remember the reel you sent me?
Did I send you a reel?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was saying, but it was saying that, like, the wound left inside of you is like a 25 centimeter diameter or something. And if that was the guy was saying, like, if that was anywhere else on the body, people would consider it a major wound. But of course, because it's, you know, women and it's about pregnancy, people haven't really considered it like that very much.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I told her and the boyfriend to sleep on it, and they came back with actual thoughtful responses and even a budget goal that I found impressive. Dude, okay, I'm just going to, hopefully this doesn't turn on me, but this couple, the way they're handling it and the way they're going about it, I think that they're going to flourish having this kid around.
they seem like they're going about it well. I mean, it's smart that the dad is like, yeah, like, you know, we'll think about options just in case he does drop the ball. But, I mean, it seems like he's taking good care of her so far.
Yeah, yeah. And he's
So
going to
far.
nursing school.
Yeah. Eventually, after all the debt.
The tiny bedroom next to Maddie's is currently home to a treadmill I never use and is going to be a nursery. Of course, I keep Vera in the loop during all this. Vera and I have discussed all of this before I talk to the kids in depth. I made her very aware that the three of them could end up living here for a few years. She was supportive initially, but when them living here became the plan, she gave me an ultimatum and told me to punt my daughter out because she's an adult.
What? Vera.
She got upset and said if she wanted to raise a baby, she would have one of her own. She said she didn't sign up for this and is not okay with it and demanded I resign the offer, that Maddie's 18 and she needs to figure it out on her own if she wants to keep the baby. I told her I wouldn't do that. She's always been my daughter and needs help. She threatened to move out if I didn't tell Maddie to get out, and then got mad that I told her I understood. Now she's avoiding both us, but still staying here or being snippy. I don't know what she expects me to do, but it's making the entire house anxious. This is Maddie's home. She's always lived here. The rest is a surprise, but my daughter is living in her home. Do you have any advice? Coming one says, say goodbye to this relationship. Reply, OP already said he chose his daughter over his girlfriend.
Oh.
But the girlfriend, who was supposedly ready to leave, has nowhere to go and can't afford to live independently. So she's just angry that her ultimatum didn't work while still living with OP.
Well,
We have an
guess
update.
what? She's an adult. She can figure it out on her own. Like, what? That's what she's telling the daughter, who's 18 and is literally having a child.
There we go. There we go.
So insane.
This woman, Vera, has two options. One, to do the same advice she told Maddie to do.
Yeah.
Or two, to get on her knees and beg for forgiveness to Maddie and say, I'm so sorry. I don't know where I came from.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'd be so happy to take care of your child with you.
But I think you might need to say,
Yeah.
you're an adult.
Like, sorry. What's the difference? What's the
Yeah.
difference?
We got an update. Whew. My last post got a little overwhelming, but I'm still glad I did it. Reading the comments, I just got to the point. I was like, what am I doing? I asked Vera to talk. She actually did kind of apologize, said she was just stressed because she expected Maddie to either keep the same custody schedule or maybe a bit more, but not full time and certainly not with the baby. Interesting. And then she didn't think I'd actually let her live here with the baby. She said she'd be able to work with the compromise of Maddie and the boyfriend, let's call him Doug, getting their own place when they started working full time, and they could promise to never ask her for help. I guess she thought as long as she has an end in sight, she would be able to handle it. Okay. I kind of understand that, but again,
Yeah, I don't like the way she's going about it.
me neither.
Like, as long as you agree that eventually, once you get out of here, I never have to help you ever.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, it's not your child. You're not having a child. If you don't want to be around children, like, maybe consider the fact that someone you're dating who has a kid is going to have grandchildren
Yeah.
that you'll have to help out with.
I told her I understood, but her behavior was out of line, and I can't see us working out after this. She was upset and seemed shocked, got pretty mad. I told her she was welcome to stay in the basement, which is finished with a walkout and a kitchenette, for a month while she found a new place. I'd pay her back for the bills she paid. I rounded up to $1,000. She wasn't happy about any of this and was freaking out. So I called and asked Maddie if she could stay with Doug for the night. I offered to give Vera some space, and she told me to F off.
Well, great. I will, because I'll be giving you space.
I was working from home that day, so I was around, but not in her way at all while she moved her things downstairs. She had work that night and let me know the next morning she'd be moving to her friends.
Good.
I offered to help, but again, she said no and left her key on the counter. I changed the security code, but told her if she left anything there just to let me know, and I'd let her come by and get it. I was actually sad, but felt better about the whole thing. We can't prove anything, but Maddie's carnivorous plants started rapidly passing away the last few days, and she said a bunch of her concentrated fertilizer was gone.
That's
We all know not to touch them or water them. She's devastated and hasn't said it directly, but we both think Vera had something to do with it. I've asked her if she wants me to do anything about it, and she said no. At one point, Vera sent her a nasty text saying she's the reason I'm alone and she hopes she's happy. I told her to block her. I don't know if she feels guilty or like she deserves it. She doesn't even want me to replace them and said she'll just try to salvage some of them. So if anyone knows good sites in the US to buy pictures or pings, hit me up. And we'll hit you up if you go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And listen to more stories like this for the next 71 days. Did Vera go too far?
yes. Yes. It's so stupid. It's just revenge is stupid, guys. It's
Right.
just silly goose stupid. Because if you are so distraught about, oh my gosh, my boyfriend is breaking up with me, oh my gosh, if you actually want him to like change his mind, be a good person and don't try to then just like burn that bridge, you know? Like it's stupid. It's just stupid. And like what the F, you know?
It is. It's really.
It's embarrassing.
I see where Maddie's coming from. She's like, okay, this is what happened. I'm not gonna fight back. I'm just gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Absolutely.
Not to, but it still sucks.
'Cause that's just what you should just leave it alone.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
We're gonna finish this one up. So not great. I'm gonna stay single for a while, obviously. But there's some good news. I have a female friend who Maddie has known forever and has had kids, and she took her out to lunch. My issue was Maddie thought she could power through and take courses in the spring with a newborn. She wouldn't listen to me and told her she'd make it work. My friend was able to convince her that one semester wasn't going to ruin her life, so that is a positive. And the boyfriend, Doug, I talked with his parents. They're like me, not thrilled, but going to be supportive and excited for a grandbaby. They live over an hour away, though, but I told them I had a spare room they could use when they visit. And Doug, who does work part-time while he's in school, I told him, yes, work this semester, but next semester, your number one job is to finish your degree, no matter what. I'm willing to support them both financially and with the baby more than I normally would next semester because I know the best way to ensure my grandbaby has a good life is making sure their dad has his degree and a good job. You were too good for this world.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we need more people like you.
That's so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He seemed to understand and was thankful. Maybe he's not as much of a ding-dong as I thought he was. Yeah, that's it.
Aw. My stepdaughter makes my home chaotic, so I want her to leave.
You're making everything crazy.
I, 29 female, have a partner, 30 male, who has a 15-year-old daughter. Let's call her Lila. She came to live with us about 6 years ago. My partner and I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. Ever since Lila moved in with us, she has been very disrespectful to my kids and me. She would slam doors in their faces, ignore them when they talk to her, insult them, take their toys, and do many other things. My partner never did anything about it. By the way, this comes from Dangerous Working 440, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says she would steal my money, my cosmetic products, perfumes, makeup, and any random thing you could think of. Again, my partner never did anything about it. She started to steal things from my partner too. Again, with no consequences. She would constantly break my rules, be disrespectful to us, and lie without any remorse. My partner never did anything about it. Over the years, we have had multiple problems with her. She would be aggressive towards the kids, disrespectful towards me, slam doors in my face, and more, but she never faced consequences. She stole my money multiple times, would interfere with my son's virtual classes, and pester my daughter. Whenever I grounded her, my partner would unground her. We were contacted multiple times by teachers regarding her poor academic performance and being disrespectful towards the teachers and administrative staff. She often asked to visit a friend to get her hair braided and wouldn't come home until around 11 p.m. and with no braids in her hair. I've asked my partner multiple times over the past few months what his plans were to discipline her, but his answers were always, "She's not your daughter, none of your business," or "I'm glad she does that to you because you suck up to her too much." Every time I pointed out everything I do for his daughter and how I treat her like my own, he just told me, "Well, that happens to you because you're a sucker." Well, today, I exploded. She had a friend over and brought food to her room so they could eat. One of my rules is no eating in the bedroom. I pointed it out to my partner, and he said it was because the food was for her friend. I asked him if the rules only applied to certain family members, and he just walked away. I texted Lila and told her that I wanted no food in the bedroom. She lied, saying she had no food in there, even though we both saw her take plates into her room. That was the last straw. I texted my partner and said I wanted no more of her friends in the house, and that if he couldn't make Lila respect us and follow the rules, then he needed to get her out of my house. He came to me and asked me to come to our room, and we had an argument. He said I was just looking for excuses to punt Lila out of the house, and I reminded him of all the things that she had done over the past 6 years and how he had handled them. He tried to make excuses for her behavior, and I told him that what he was doing showed me that he didn't respect me or the kids, and that Lila wasn't the only one who needed to leave the house. He just walked away and has been in the kids' room ever since. We haven't talked since then. I think Lila heard us and has been giving me the side eye ever since the argument, but at this point, I don't care anymore. I understand that she's his daughter, and I might be asking a lot from him, but I have to protect my kids. She's not my daughter, and there is no reason for me to put up with this. I treated her like my daughter for years, and all she's done is disrespect me, my kids, and my house with no consequences. In the past 4 to 5 months, my kids have started to raise their voices at us, talk back, and mimic Lila's behavior. When we discipline them, they always ask why Lila gets to do those things without consequences while they can't. They see how unfair it is. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? And there is an edit, but no.
No. I think I'm shocked that you put up with it for 6 years.
Yeah.
Your partner does not respect you as a partner or as a parent.
Right. Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Or a person even. Like saying that you deserve poor treatment
Yeah.
at all, but especially from
Oh.
his daughter
Mm-hmm.
because of an insult that he's casting your way.
He's also insulting you. He's calling you
Yeah.
a suck up
Yeah.
and saying that, yeah, as you said, you deserve the treatment, which is crazy.
Crazy. We do have an edit. It clearly says that after he came up with excuses for Lila's behavior, I told my partner that Lila is not the only one who needs to leave the house, meaning he needs to go as well. We do have a second edit here. Just to add more info, Lila has a mom who lives overseas with her 2-year-old daughter. As far as we know, her mom has never brought a man home, although she's had partners over the years. Lila has never had a stepdad. Lila's dad and I met in high school. At the time, Lila was living with her mom overseas, and she was about a year old when we started dating. Lila has always known about me. For as long as she can remember, I've been around. We would talk on the phone and have video calls, and I would send her gifts from time to time, which she always thanked me for. When she arrived, the first few days were normal for a kid adjusting, crying because she missed her mom and friends, not eating much, and not being too excited. The vid hit a few months after she came, so we were locked down together, which is when the problems started. She began mistreating the little ones, who were only 2 and 4 at the time. When my partner and I had to work, my kids were babysat by a friend/family member. We got multiple complaints about Lila not being kind to the babysitter or their family. She would go into their rooms, take things, and act aggressively towards their kids to the point that nobody wanted to babysit her anymore. They would accept my kids, but not her. She started demanding specific meals because she preferred them. I always told her I had no problem cooking what she liked, but she also needed to understand that sometimes I'd make food other family members liked too. She wanted the TV on 24/7, and I told her TV time had to be split equally with her siblings until we could afford more TVs. When she first came, I helped her study, taught her how to add and subtract, and helped her learn English. I convinced her dad to switch her to a better school since the local public school wasn't good. I made sure she had clothes, skincare, feminine pads, and everything that she needed. I took her to her doctor's appointments, went to parent-teacher conferences, celebrated her birthdays, and got her Christmas presents. When she was bullied in 6th grade, I stood up for her and made sure that the school had addressed the issue. I cared for her when she was sick. 2 months ago, I took her to the ER because of complications with her period and fought with a doctor who wanted to send her home with painkillers. I pushed for an ultrasound, and it turned out that she had PCOS. I took her to the OB appointment and got her all her medicine, only for her to get angry at me when I reminded her to take it. She was allowed to touch my things, but only when she asked permission first and returned them afterwards. Even when I bought duplicates for both of us, she would still sneak into my room, take mine, use them, and then throw them away. What? She was allowed to play with any of my kids' toys, but she had to return them when done. She didn't like that and also refused to let my kids play with her toys. She would tell everyone she hates me and her siblings, but could never explain why. Before she came to live with us, her family had already warned us that she was trouble. Her dad picks and chooses when to parent her. When he actually does, she listens, but it's rare. We installed locks on my room and the little one's room years ago to prevent her from stealing. She used to share a room with my daughter until about 3 years ago when she got angry at my daughter for opening the door to get clothes before showering. She pushed my daughter into the door frame, giving her one of the worst bruises I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. My guess is that she had something she didn't want anyone to see. Lila is a teenager who will be an adult in less than 3 years. Her behavior right now is excused because of her age and her dad's lack of parenting. But at this point, this is who she is, and she won't change no matter what anyone does. She was trouble before she even came to this house, and that's not on me. And what's on you is that you have to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast platform you choose. Just search OK Storytime, and we'll be there. But there is a little bit more to the story.
This is so sad.
This is sad. I would completely disagree with the fact that, this is just
Yeah.
how she is. She can't change.
No,
She's only 15.
and she's never had a parent actually parent her.
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, you to an extent, but you still have limitations.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for this girl.
Me
Like,
too.
obviously, she's behaving badly, and that's
Absolutely.
a problem. But you're sitting here telling me that when she was 9 years old,
Yeah.
people were saying that she was trouble.
Yeah.
And then you took her in expecting her to be trouble, and now
Right.
have continued that narrative that everyone's been telling her this whole time.
Yeah, because I mean, this sucks, dude. Because yes, she is young enough that she can still change and be taught a good way and still be shown
Yeah.
love, but
Like,
old
we have a
enough to
parenting
have
issue
consequences.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it brings up a lot of questions about how she was treated overseas.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know.
And then I wonder too.
She also didn't speak English when she got when
Yeah.
she moved at 8 or 9.
Yeah.
OP was teaching her English, which is also a pretty big. I don't know, just like adds another barrier
Yeah.
or obstacle to integration, like integrating into a new family.
Totally.
Where the kids don't speak the language that
Yeah.
she grew up
And
speaking.
then she's like alone in it. I mean, I want to know why she moved back, what that was about. Like, what was the reason? Who chose to have her do that? Did it go over well? How'd you guys handle that overseas? And then also I do wonder how OP's partner treats OP in front of her too, because I think if the dad isn't a good parent to her, I mean that's obviously going to result in poor behavior. But then if he's also treating OP poorly, then that also contributes to how she sees OP and how she thinks it's okay to be. There's just so much stuff that goes into it, and it would be very challenging to counteract all this stuff, but it's possible. But there is a little bit more of this story. In less than 3 years, she'll be an adult, and no one will put up with her behavior. Her dad and mom can deal with it then. Her dad is not innocent in this, and he wouldn't be around much longer, but he can't blame me for this situation or accuse me of finding excuses to get rid of her when I've put up with both of them for 6 years. I won't be gaslighted anymore or put Lila and her dad above my own children. She's broken, and it's not my job to fix her. It's time for her mom and dad to pull their weight. By the way, I have a great relationship with her mom, who has been by my side all these years and keeps telling Lila to stop acting this way and start appreciating me and her siblings more. I have so many questions.
I just don't understand why you would stay with the dad.
Yeah, I think
if he's in, because usually we have the other parent who is caring for the child, is not pulling their weight.
Yeah.
And, allowing this behavior, but OP and her partner would be the ones who are trying to make a difference. But here
Right.
you've been watching your partner just kind of fail his daughter for 6 years.
Yeah.
And that is not, I don't know, that would be a deal breaker for me.
We looked up our daughter's new house online, and her husband was not happy.
Was it ugly?
In 2021, my youngest daughter, Nadia. My youngest daughter, Nadia, who was then 23, reconnected with a guy that she had gone to high school with named Ray, who was 24 at the time. They had been just friends in high school, went to different colleges, and hadn't kept in touch. By the way, this comes from Particular Hope 8459, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So OP says, as fate would have it, they ended up taking jobs in the same city and found each other via social media, beginning to meet up. During that time, Nadia rented a room in a shared house, and Ray rented an apartment. Ray had been house shopping and decided that the time was right to buy a home. By this time, Nadia and Ray had been seeing each other for about 6 months and planned to move into the new house together. Ray was proud of being a new homeowner and posted a picture of himself in front of the porch on the house on social media. Nadia was also happy about the new house, and we chatted about what things she and Ray might need, the neighborhood, and the proximity of the house to her work. During the conversation, Nadia mentioned the street name, but not the actual address because the house purchase had not gone to closing yet and they hadn't moved in. Several weeks went by, and they eventually moved into the new house together. The city where they lived is about a 6 to 7 hour drive from where my husband and I live, so we weren't able to visit them due to our work schedules. At the time, my husband and I were looking at homes on various internet sites as we were planning to downsize since we are now empty nesters. We explored housing options in several different states. One day, it occurred to me that since I knew the city and street of Ray's house, I might be able to do a virtual tour online if the listing was still up. I looked it up on a real estate site under recently sold and quickly recognized the correct house because Ray had posted that photo on the front porch, which showed the house number. My husband and I looked at the house photos on the real estate website and thought it looked small, but very nice. We were happy for them. Around that time, one of my sons texted me to ask for Nadia and Ray's address so he could send them a housewarming gift. Since I knew the address from Ray's social media post and the real estate site, I gave it to him. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Nadia just to chat, or so I thought. After the usual, "How are you doing?" exchange, she said, "So we got a package from her brother, but I don't know how he got our address since we didn't give it to him." I volunteered that he had asked me, and I gave it to him. Nadia, in a slightly severe tone, then asked, "How did you get our address?"
Why is she so?
I don't know.
Maybe she like doesn't have a good relationship with her parents and they don't fully get that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't understand. I explained exactly how I knew it. She confessed that she had suspected and proceeded to scold me for giving out her address without her permission and looking up their house without asking Ray first. Her level of outrage seemed very strange and out of character. I asked if she would have given me the address if I called and asked. She said yes, but the point was that I didn't ask. I replied that because I already knew the address, I had no reason to call and ask. The conversation felt odd. For context, Nadia, her sister, and her two brothers all love each other and have very good relationships. We spend holidays together when we can keep in touch via text and calls throughout the year. There are no hard feelings or awkward situations that would make Nadia not want any of her siblings to know where she lived. The big problem here was that Ray was offended and angry because, as Nadia explained, he is shy and a very private person. Nadia would likely have been fine with me giving her brother the address or looking at online photos, but she was trying to support her boyfriend. Ray believed that we needed to apologize for both looking at the house photos and giving their address to her brother. We agreed to call them back. After discussing it, my husband and I set up a phone call with Ray. We apologized for giving out the address without asking because that may have been out of order. We explained that it never occurred to us that either of them would want to keep their address secret from the family. And by the way, I will never keep it a secret that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, it's a weird situation.
Honestly, I think you just apologize. You say, "Sorry, I didn't realize that would be an issue. I'll make sure to do that in the future."
Yeah, like, is there anything else? Like, is this some sort of boundary that I'm just, like, not aware of? That there's, like, other parts to this boundary that you're not comfortable with? Something like that?
I don't even think you argue it. I think you go, "Okay,
Totally.
I don't know, she's upset about this, whatever.
Yeah.
So sorry, won't do that again."
I could so see this being the type of like story where like this reminds me of a lot of situations where we get the like kids side of the story and they're like, "Oh my gosh, my mom is crossing all these boundaries.
Yeah.
She's like so overbearing, doing all of this stuff," and the mom is like probably innocent in it, and like because there's a lot where it's like, "Oh my god, mom, you have to quit it." Like it doesn't even seem like she's innocent, like she knows exactly what boundaries she's crossing.
Yeah.
But there are some where it's like she seems like she has good intentions.
Yeah.
No malice ones. And I'm just imagining this being like that other side of the
Like we
perspective.
get another thing and she's like, "My mom's the worst."
Yeah. And now the mom is just like, "I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. This is strange."
Yeah.
So maybe there's more to the story of like boundaries that we just don't know about because the mom doesn't realize their boundaries or
Yeah.
but that's total speculation. But we do have a little bit more to the story. We did not apologize for looking at the house photos. We said that we were sorry that it made him feel like his privacy was invaded and that it was never our intention to hurt or upset him. We explained that while we were browsing dozens of homes on real estate sites, we looked at his out of general curiosity and did not think it was wrong. We expressed hope that he would accept our apology. Ray seemed okay at the end of the call, but this did not satisfy him. He was still angry because we would not say that it was wrong of us to look at the house pictures without his permission. Even now, 4 years later, after he married our daughter, a wedding that we helped pay for, attended family gatherings at our house, and received nothing but kindness from us, he still won't speak to us directly. When we visit, he makes sure that he's out of the house when we arrive.
That's really concerned. If I were OP's daughter, I'd be pretty concerned about my partner not ever wanting to see my
Yes.
parents.
After just
Unless-
that,
Yeah.
after
After
that
one
little
thing.
like that was, especially if she didn't think that that was wrong.
Yeah.
Like if you don't think that something your parents did was wrong, and then
Yeah.
your partner is like so mad at them,
yeah.
it's like you gotta really. It's good to keep other people's emotions and experiences
Sure.
in mind and to consider all of that. But at the end of the day, when someone's holding a grudge for 4 years and
That's
doesn't
pretty
even want to be
crazy.
around,
Over giving an ad or like finding an address out
yeah, like
to
this
something
is-
that would have been given anyway.
yeah, that is something that you want to pay attention to. That's not something
Yeah.
that you like if you don't agree with that and they're having that reaction, you should raise an eyebrow at that for
Yeah.
sure. But OP finishes this off with, am I the a-hole for not apologizing, specifically for looking up my daughter in her boyfriend's house and viewing the photos online without asking his permission? And we have your answer. No.
No.
Like it's a big jump to controlling or whatever, but I could understand if this is some sort of like power dynamic that he wanted. Like he just kind of felt like he lost power in a sense of like, oh, these people like found out my address and I didn't do anything to, like, I wasn't involved in that. Maybe that kind of spooked him a little bit in a way, but it still is like not the right reaction from him, even if he was kind of like scared by it, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I refuse to call my stepmom mom, and now my family thinks I'm the villain.
Well, she's not my mom technically.
I lost my mom when I was 7 after a long battle with health issues following the birth of my younger sister, who is now 20. My dad pawned us off on his family members for a few years after mom's passing, but refused any help from mom's family since he knew they would have offered to take us in. By the way, this comes from Sophia and Aya, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my father wants to keep control, and he essentially took us home to be fun time dad. His family helped for a while, but once they got tired, he found a woman to marry and let her take over. During this time, he limited our contact with mom's family. We were lucky to see them once a year, and he didn't like me even talking to them on the phone. I was 10 when he remarried. He had known her only a couple of months before marrying, and she moved in 2 weeks before the wedding. That's when he handed us off to her. She told me and my sister, who was 3 at the time, that she was our new mom and would take care of us now. I got mad, yelled that she wasn't my mom, and she told me I didn't have to feel that way immediately, but that eventually I'd see she was her new mom and I couldn't stop it. I yelled more and stormed off. That was the start of me hating her for insisting she was my new mom. She constantly tried to touch me. I repeatedly slapped her hands away. She tried to get hugs from me, saying it was a sign we were bonding. When I turned 12, I refused to acknowledge her attempts at conversation or affection. She was angry, I was angry, and she would always tell me not to ignore my mom. My dad stayed totally out of it. He remained Disney dad or fun-time dad. She showed up to take us places, but wasn't involved in actual parenting or support. When I sought support from him, he told me to talk to your mom. I used to talk to my sister about our mom, which my dad's wife hated. She accused me of trying to alienate my sister, and we'd fight about it. She called it disrespectful to her as the mom in the house. Between ages 15 to 17, our conflict escalated, and I sometimes wished that she passed away in my head. Eventually, I left and moved in with my maternal grandparents at 17, not even a senior yet. My sister clearly loved my dad's wife, and I felt there was no reason for me to stay. The fights were getting tense enough to risk turning physical. I haven't seen or spoken to my dad or that woman since then. My contact with my sister was very limited until a couple of years ago. We are not very close, not just due to the 7-year age gap, but also because of the family situation. My sister is disconnected from my mom's side, and I cannot stand the woman she calls mom. However, we do have a relationship. My paternal grandparents initially said they understood and supported my feelings. That changed after I got engaged. When I sent out save the dates without including my dad or his wife, they asked why I hadn't reached out to apologize or shown remorse for my teenage actions. They said my hostility had terrorized the house and put her in a difficult position as the mom of the house. I asked where this was coming from after years of support. They explained that they believed supporting me as a teen and young adult would lead me to see I was wrong. They expected me to regret rejecting the chance to have a second mom and to see my behavior as cruel. By the way, it would be cruel of you to not listen to full episode stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's frustrating that they were so understanding
Yeah.
when it was like happening. And then now they're like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, no, we were actually doing that in hopes that you'd just forgive your new mom.
Yeah, you just would come around eventually. But
Seems
now
like you're not, so we're taking away all of our support.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hello,
Hello.
It was not just a phase. Those were my real feelings.
Yeah, especially when this is paternal grandparents. Okay, I was gonna say I thought this was maybe maternal grandparents. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
was imagining that.
yeah. Yikes.
Yeah,
Not
that's
great.
because I think like it might be a generational thing too of like with
You have to
with
get along,
weddings and stuff. There's a lot of tradition involved and a lot of like, oh well, such a big thing in your life is happening. Like you should make amends. Like you
Yeah.
have to do this because this is your family. You know, that kind of stuff. But I feel like depending on the family situation and as generations move along, a lot of
Yeah.
it is kind of like, well, no, I mean, this is what happened. So I don't want to just push through just because he's technically my dad. Like, I don't think he deserves to be around me on my wedding day. I don't need to have him there if I don't want him there. you
Yeah,
know?
agreed.
So that might be just where they're
Agreed.
not agreeing.
In vain, my name is Sophia. I refused to take that blame. I told them nothing would make me apologize for someone insisting she was my new mom when she wasn't. I told them they were wrong for the new mom issue as well. I said you don't replace a parent when they pass away. They said it wasn't replacing, but adding fill the missing space. I said you don't even do that unless you are really young, like my sister. I explained my mom, though deceased, was the only woman to hold that title, and insisting on sharing it would never endear someone to me. They said they didn't think it was a big enough issue to warrant my reaction. They acknowledged her attempts to force physical contact, but argued I was too harsh in slapping her hands away. I said I disagreed, and reminded them I could not see her as a mother figure. They expressed disappointment, but admitted they could not understand me. They said a good person should see how wrong I was and feel remorse. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments, but no,
Yeah,
you're not the a-hole.
They don't understand your experience with this.
No, they don't have to live with her.
Yeah, and I mean, everything that they heard about it was probably just like
She's
such-
trying to be kind to OP and be a
Yeah.
mother figure, and OP's
Yeah.
like being awful to her. That's probably what they're hearing.
right? Because I mean, when this all started when you were 8 years old,
Yeah,
right? Like,
7 years old.
7 years old, like you're not going to. they're
Oh
not
wait,
gonna-
no, sorry. Because it was 7 years old when she lost her mother, and then I think 9 years old when
Okay.
this new wife came in. So maybe
Gotcha.
9.
So yeah, either way, I mean, like you're not
Yeah.
the grandparents aren't going to like listen to a 9-year-old about what's exactly going on. Like they're probably not talking like that. They're just,
No.
I mean, they would probably listen, but they just aren't having those conversations.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, they're gonna hear everything from this other mother, and it's like obviously she's gonna have a different
Have a
perspective.
skewed perspective.
Yeah.
Comment 1 says, so they blame you, but don't see how that POS of a father alienated your mother's actual family and eliminated the memory for your sister regarding her bio mom. Right. Blame the innocent, because how dare you blame their family and their son for treating you like crap. Actions have consequences. You didn't want a new mom. This situation is ridiculous, but OP definitely not the a-hole. And OP says they don't. As far as they're concerned, Dad did his best. I feel that's a cop-out, because if he wasn't going to raise us, he could have let family members who wanted to do it. Instead, he found someone to do it for him that kept us with him to play the fun guy whenever he felt like it. In doing so, he let my sister grow up with Mom being someone who shouldn't be talked about, because imagine the poor little wifey feeling jealous.
Of a deceased woman?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's that. Yeah. Imagine being jealous of your like stepchild's
yeah.
like deceased parent.
And that's why your literal stepchild, like, how old was the sibling? Like, what, like 3 or something when it
She
happened?
must have been a lot younger
I
because
think
I think OP said there was a 7 years difference. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
she
said
must have been
something about
3.
that.
Yeah. 2,
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Imagine saying that, like, you can't talk about a 3-year-old's deceased mother because I'm jealous because that's
Which
my
is
husband's ex-wife.
So awful to imagine this young girl
Yeah.
growing up without any memory of her mother.
Yeah.
Or
And can't even
not
talk
memory,
about it.
but like any information about her mom.
Yeah.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's ridiculous.
no one will talk about her. He gets too much credit for fighting to keep us, in my opinion. Reply says maybe he did do his best. It's just that his best was a complete failure and also revealed his shortcomings as a human being. And that his best was so cataclysmically bad that there is nothing to be gained from associating with him in any way. OP says, I don't know if I'd say that was his best. His best would generally have been putting us first and not himself. I suppose, in his own head, it could be his best, but either way, he failed us so bad that I find no value in having him in my life. And that is the end of that story, folks.
My mother-in-law excluded me from everything, so I'm cutting her off.
You want to exclude me? I'll exclude you.
My fiance, 25 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for a year and a half, and we got engaged a month ago. We had a beautiful baby girl 3 months ago, and she's just perfection. The issue, however, is my soon-to-be mother-in-law. By the way, this comes from Realistic Average 20, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, if I wrote everything that has happened in the past year and a half, it would be an entire book. So I will spare the goriness of all of that. For the issue on hand, however, I do need to give a bit of background. My fiance and I live an hour away from his family and only 20 minutes from mine. He moved away from his parents after coming back for college for work. I moved in with him in November from my parents' house after finding out that we were pregnant. My mother-in-law has had an issue with my fiance living away from them since he moved in 2022 and has even blamed it on me. Her father-in-law and sister-in-law have made both blatant and passive-aggressive comments about how fiance doesn't come around often enough or that him and I only spend time with my family. Which we did spend more time with my family because for the majority of our relationship, I was living with them. Since we had our daughter, mother-in-law makes even more comments about how she, quote, wants her granddaughter to know her and that she wants to actually have a relationship with her. She has even gone as far as to stop speaking to fiance for weeks because she thinks that my parents spend every day with our daughter. She thinks we, my family, and I, quote, stole him from her and that my parents are trying to replace her. Sister-in-law has 3 kids, to which mother-in-law is the sole babysitter and honestly has the kids more than sister-in-law does. So fiance is thinking that mother-in-law wants our daughter to herself like she gets with the others. When we got invited over, it's usually only fiance and our daughter that get an invite. Fiance and I have addressed this, to which mother-in-law replied, it's implied that OP is invited.
Well, then just include my name on there.
Yeah, right? Is it really that much to type out?
It would be implied my kid is, too,
Yeah,
but you're
exactly.
including her.
Yeah. She went as far as to remove fiance and I from her Blue app after we asked her to tag me in a post that she made of our daughter. She had only tagged fiance and sister-in-law, then got defensive when fiance told her that it was rude not to tag me. So what do you guys think? There are some comments, but what do you think, Carly?
Sounds like she's doing it on purpose to me.
Sounds like some mean girl action right now.
Sounds like we went back to high school
Yeah.
with
I
your
think so.
mother-in-law.
But we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, it's not you. It's the idea of you. Mother-in-law wants her son and her grandchildren to be her minions. She expects her daughter-in-law and son-in-law to be minions too. You aren't. You are an adult who lives somewhere, and your fiance wants to be with you and build a life with you, so he moved. She can't blame her son, so she has to blame you for taking her son away from her as if he was a child, and her grandchild as if she were the mother instead of you. She is being petty and unreasonable. She is hoping that her being petty and leaving you uninvited, that it will create cracks in your relationship so that fiance will leave you and take the child and move back to her so she can raise more babies. Mother-in-law is an empty nester who refuses to embrace her life as an empty nester. She wants to be a mom, raising her kids and grandkids. There is no reasoning with her because she's unreasonable. So you and fiance figure out how often you want to visit and only go as a family unit. You, fiance, and child are your own little family unit. Any other invitations you are entitled to politely but firmly decline. Don't engage in her games about grandparent time. Just respond, "We are fair to both families, and I'm sorry if you feel differently about that." You and fiance need to build a wonderful life together with your child. And we do have an update, but yeah, I mean, that comment was like pretty spot on.
Yeah.
We covered all the bases.
Good job, Colin.
No notes. No notes.
A+.
Mother-in-law says my daughter is just for my family. Fiance and I decided to ask his family and mine to lunch the day before Father's Day. This is an attempt to get both sides together before we start heavy wedding planning, and also so that we are able to celebrate my dad, father-in-law, and fiance all in one. My parents were immediately good with it and accepted the invite. In-laws, however, took 3 days to respond, and fiance was instructed by mother-in-law to ask both parents separately. In the end, they accepted. Today is fiance's birthday, so his parents gave him a call this morning. The call went as I expected. Father-in-law asked about work and money, and mother-in-law was nosy and judgy about how I was going to cook dinner. However, we missed sister-in-law's birthday in May, and her youngest child's birthday is at the end of June. Mother-in-law ended the call asking fiance if we can pick a day to go to their house to celebrate all 3 birthdays in one. Our daughter will be 4 months this month, so she will obviously be a big part of the celebration. I hate playing past the baby, and since in-laws have barely seen her, I know they will push to hold her a lot. I have PPD and PPA, so my list of people I fully trust with my daughter is very short. In-laws are not on that list, and we do have a second update. Yeah, that sounds stressful.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
It's so easy from an outside perspective to be like, well, just let them hold the baby. Like, they haven't seen the baby.
Right.
But I can understand the stress of that as your
Yeah.
child is being passed around.
Right, and if you have postpartum depression,
Right,
and
I'm
anxiety,
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that is something that we just could not understand. But we do have a second update. We went to the early Father's Day lunch with both mine and my fiance's family. One long table where fiance, daughter, and I were at one end. My family arrived when we did, on time, and the in-laws arrived about 10 minutes after. Okay, 10 minutes to a dinner, I feel like that's fine. They said hello and hugged fiance and said hi to my family and gave sideways hello to me. I was holding the baby in my lap. The day before this, our daughter got her 4-month shots, so she was not fully acting herself and was being clingy to us. Fiance spent most of the lunch talking to his parents while I talked to both him and mine. Fiance and I passed out Father's Day gifts and a late Mother's Day gift to mother-in-law. She was convinced that fiance and sister-in-law went in on the gift, even after fiance told her that I made it. We did not want to pass the baby around. We stood firm on that, and it was either fiance or I holding the daughter the entire time. Sister-in-law came up to me, reached out her hands to grab my daughter, and said, "Can I take her?" So I politely said, "Oh, we don't want to pass her around today. We're going to keep her with us." She then made a face and then walked back to her seat. Father-in-law came and said hello to both baby and I, which was nice. Before everyone left, sister-in-law came over and kept getting very close to trying to pick up the baby, but never did. She took photos of her and just kind of lingered. Mother-in-law asked fiance if she could hold the baby, and fiance calmly explained why she couldn't. She then pouted and then said she was ready to leave. She never once came up to me or our daughter. She ended up leaving without a goodbye to anyone but fiance. When we left, fiance immediately got aggressive texts from sister-in-law accusing him of lying to them about why he wears a ring on his left hand. I bought him one when he bought my engagement ring, so he chose to start wearing it when we got engaged. She then sent very strong texts angry with us for not letting them hold our daughter and threw in many a curse word. There was even a text that was somewhat threatening to both of us. Oh, wow. This went on for a few hours. That night, she posted photos of our daughter from lunch and didn't tag either one of us, but did tag mother-in-law. This is a huge deal to us, for safety reasons. I left a comment on sister-in-law's post, thanking her for the non-existent tag. She then proceeded to text fiance that it was, quote, her app, so she could post what she wanted to, along with more curse words. Fiance told her that she can post our daughter as long as she tags us, to which she responded with, "Well, don't ask to see my kids since I can't see yours." Mother-in-law then sent a long text blaming fiance for how sister-in-law acted and for how everyone was feeling. I decided to text mother-in-law to try and clear the air and explain our side of things. It was a very long message, and she replied with her own lengthy response. However, nowhere in it did she acknowledge anything I said, gave excuses for their behavior, and defended sister-in-law. Right now, no one has spoken to fiancé, and we've decided to let it sit and see what happens. At this point, we do not want sister-in-law anywhere around our daughter until we get a firm apology in person. And we do have a third update here.
Jeez.
Do you think we're going to get that apology?
No,
Yeah, I definitely don't think so.
it's not looking likely.
We have a third update here. After the last blow up with my future in-laws, my fiance and I haven't spoken to them in weeks. He was waiting for some medical supplies to come in and got a notification that it was delivered, but not to our house. The photo showed it sitting at his parents' house. It had been there for a few days with no communication from his mother. He called her, but no answer. So he texted her, asking if he had a package. She responded, yes. Fiance drove the hour away to pick up the package, which contained medical supplies that he had been waiting on for weeks. Immediately upon arrival, he was scolded and asked, so what the F is going on? They had it out for about an hour. He called me on his way home to tell me everything. A ton of blame was put on me for keeping him away from the family and changing him, purposefully keeping our daughter from them, not trying to be a part of the family. She told fiance that his sister was just very hurt and that we need to apologize to her. That mother-in-law apparently is up all night crying and never gets to sleep because of everything. She has claimed that an hour isn't that far of a drive and that we can make the trip with our now 5-month-old because they are always busy. My fiance wants to stay in contact with them solely because they are family, but agrees that they shouldn't have much contact with our daughter. Neither of us are comfortable with it. There is a birthday party coming up for sister-in-law's twins, turning 6, which we were told to go to. Should we go? Our daughter will be 6 months at that point. We had a conversation about everything with his grandmother, mother-in-law's mom, who agreed with us on everything and told me how proud she is of me and how happy she is to have me become part of the family. The same from his aunt and grandfather. So I don't want to lose contact with all of fiance's family, but I don't want to see mother-in-law or sister-in-law. And we do have a fourth update. My goodness, but what would you say is the move right now?
I don't even know, because it's nice to know that, like, some of the family does seem very respectful and inviting and everything.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to be like, well, don't, like, if you really want to have some sort of relationship, like, don't cut them all out. I think that'd be
Sure.
really hard. I don't really think you need to keep talking to mother-in-law and sister-in-law, though.
Yeah, because it's like, the only thing I could think of is, like, if you go to these events and you want to see these other family members,
Yeah.
like, you're going to just have to kind of deal with it and just ignore
Right.
them in a sense. But if you're, like, all you did was, like, go pick up a package and, or, like, you know, all your
Right.
husband did, or future husband did was pick up a package and then that already started, like, an argument, it's like, okay, I feel like they're not going to be able to just ignore them.
Right.
So
That is my worry as well.
we do have a fourth update. For about a week or two at the end of last month, my fiance hadn't heard from his mother. Simple texts warranted no response from her. However, she texted fiance and his sister on Grandparents' Day, telling them to call their grandmother. Fiance decided to FaceTime mother-in-law to wish her a happy Grandparents' Day, since sister-in-law has 3 kids and we have 1. I told fiance that I did not want to be in the call, since mother-in-law never wants to see me anyway, and I have decided to go no contact with her. The first thing out of her mouth when she answered, well, baby's name has no hair. Our daughter was 6 months old. She argued with my fiance for 5 minutes. She then decided to argue again on our choice to give our daughter oatmeal by spoon instead of rice cereal in her bottle. The call consisted of fiance giving his parents life updates, which they didn't care about, and them continually trying to end the call. Finally, he gave them wedding planning updates, and his dad says, well, that sounds awfully expensive. And mother-in-law follows up with, doesn't the bride's family pay for the wedding? I was livid. We have been engaged since April, and they have not once congratulated us, invited us over to celebrate, or even put me in a group chat with the other women of the family. We hadn't heard from mother-in-law in a couple of weeks. This past weekend, we traveled to my sister's college for a family weekend, which was about 2.5 hours away. Fiance sent a photo to mother-in-law for her to show father-in-law. She responded with, well, where are you? So fiance told her, and her reply was, I wish their town was as close to our town as the college town is, so I could actually see my son and granddaughter. And we were pissed off. Fiance didn't reply. We live an hour away from his parents and sister. So technically, we went further away this weekend. But they only want to see fiance and our daughter if fiance and our daughter travels to them. Mother-in-law and father-in-law have only visited our house twice since we had the baby in February. On the flip side, my mom stayed with us for 3 days at a time for almost 2 months after we came home from the hospital, and my whole side of the family visits us many times. Fiance knows there's an issue with them, but still wants to have our daughter be involved with them. They disrespect me, my fiance, and our relationship, and have since we started dating. I am completely fine with her growing up only knowing one set of grandparents until they can fix themselves. We do have a 5th update that says breaking point.
I feel like we've hit it, and I feel like it's time to stop talking to him.
Yeah, I honestly do. I want to know more information about what your fiance thinks, because,
Yeah.
you know, he's obviously arguing with them too, so he's not just like weak spining it.
But then I'm also confused at that one conversation where she was like, they kept trying to end the phone call.
Yeah.
But he kept it going. So then I'm
Yeah.
like, why are we like having longer conversations than we need to have?
Yeah, it really seems like he just really wants them in his life.
Just totally fair as his parents.
Yeah. And then it's just like so disappointing how they're
Yeah.
acting, and he's like, you know, probably doesn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
But we do have a 5th update. I think I have officially reached my breaking point.
Yeah.
My fiance is working his second job tonight, so my daughter and I have some time together. In the middle of cooking dinner, a package gets dropped off at the door. I know I haven't ordered anything, and my fiance hasn't either. It's a medium-sized box with the return address of my future in-laws, addressed to my fiance and our daughter. I text him to see if I can open it. And we can find out what's in the box after I let you know that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Let's find out. I feel like it's going to be a situation where you have to cut a red wire or else everything's going to be destroyed. I opened it to find this letter on the top of a stack of things. This letter reads, "Hey, wanted to get daughter these before she grows out of them. I've been picking them up when I found something cute. The little Western dress is in a 12-month size, so she will have to grow into it, but it was so cute. It is unfortunate that we are not able to find the time to get together with your working weekends and such, but I guess that's how things go. If the clothes don't fit or you're not interested in daughter wearing them, please bring them to the station and donate to someone who is less fortunate. I would have returned them, but I had them for too long. Take care." Safe to say, we're done. I sent photos to my fiance, and he was livid. I was fuming. She has lost any possible relationship with my daughter and I, and my fiance wants nothing to do with her. And that's the end of that story. Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, I mean, at least your fiance's on the same page now.
that was a weird breaking point, but yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm just like, what were they? Sure.
But I mean,
you know what? Sure.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of been like all of their
Yeah.
reactions to things. It's just like, huh? What is going on inside your brain?
And I'm glad it made us get there regardless.
Yeah.
Let's-
I agree. We're there.
Yes.
My partner is jealous of my ex even after we lost our daughter. Oh my gosh.
Your partner needs to get over it.
Trigger warning, mentions of losing a child. I am a 33-year-old woman who 6 years ago lost my 2-year-old daughter to leukemia.
Oh.
My husband and I tried to make things work, but the grief of losing her and the emotions at the time made our relationship unsalvageable, and a year after her passing, we divorced. By the way, this comes from Mistletoe Knife, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I kept her room as it was because I liked to go there sometimes to sit and remember her and be around her things, minus the few keepsakes her father took with him when we divorced so he could remember her too. A while after we divorced, I met my current partner, and now 3 years into our relationship, I am 29 weeks pregnant with the little boy. Wow.
Congrats.
I'm equally excited and terrified about this, as I'm so scared of going through that kind of pain again. I live in a 2-bedroom home, so obviously my daughter's room needs to be packed up, and I accepted that, though it wasn't easy. My partner offered to help me do so, and I told him if he wanted to help, it would be appreciated, but that I'd also asked my ex-husband to help me so we could decide together what we each wanted to keep, donate, or toss. This upset my partner as he doesn't like the idea of my ex-husband being around for such a lengthy time, and said that since he is my partner, I should have asked only him.
Wow.
Oh,
The
that's
audacity
tough, dude.
to not understand this
Yeah.
situation. Just
Yeah.
the blatant, I don't know, intentional obliviousness
Yeah.
to
Ye-
not understand that this goes beyond your feelings about this situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And just trying to. Yeah. Yeah. He told me I could just put aside a few random things for my ex. I tried to explain to him that my daughter was also my ex-husband's daughter,
The
so
fact that
he
you
had a
even have
right.
to explain that.
Yeah. So he had a right to be there for this and reminded him that if he wanted to help, he could be there too. He doesn't want to be around my ex-husband, however, so he denied this and has been upset with me all night over it. Is it truly unreasonable that I'd ask my ex-husband to be a part of this? There are some comments, but I mean,
It would be unreasonable if you didn't ask your partner. This was his
Yeah.
kid.
yeah, I think you're totally in
Yeah.
the right. Like, this is a very hard thing, and if you're feeling this, then like it's guaranteed that he's gonna feel that too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it depends on what works for you and what helps, but like, it might be argued that like you got more of her things and to remember and stuff, so he might want some more after so much time too.
Yeah.
But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, "Tell your partner to grow the f up, not the a-hole."
Yep.
Comment number 2 says, "Not the a-hole, so not the a-hole. I'm married to a woman that had children prior to our marriage. I have a stepson and stepdaughter. I absolutely despise her ex-husband, and he despises me. Neither of us have one single positive thing to say about the other, and we are just cordial enough to be in the same room during events like graduations, get-togethers, family stuff, because we're adults, but the interaction ends there. There is absolutely no way under these circumstances that I would even begin to express anything but support and understanding. This is something so unbearably sad and traumatizing that I question that he is even worth being married to if this was his response. As the new husband, I'd be grateful and flattered that I was invited to participate in it. I'd truly be reevaluating my relationship with this dude if this is the level of immaturity you're dealing with." OP says, "We're not married. I should have put that in the post.
Thank goodness.
He's just my partner. Frankly, given my past, I'm not very open to the idea of marriage in the future again. I'm glad you and your wife's ex-husband are able to be cordial enough to be in the same room for family things like that, as that's honestly all you need." Comment number 3 says, "Grief is what it is, not the a-hole. Your current partner needs to get a grip and stay out of the way, supportive, but let you have the space to finish this task. He needs to not be jealous of your ex. If there is a reason to be jealous, not letting him help won't squash the reason. If there's no reason, letting him help won't make one." OP says, "I offered to let him help despite favoring the idea of it just being me and my ex as a final sort of goodbye, but he doesn't want to help if my ex-husband is there." We do have an edit, but yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
all those comments.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to suck it up.
He's got to.
Suck it up
It's
and figure it
just
out.
Not about him.
Because it's like, dude, like, you're literally about to have a child. I feel
Yeah.
like you should have some sort of understanding of what that, like,
Yeah,
obviously,
with that law, I mean, you can never. I
Like,
think
you haven't
if
gone through it,
experienced
so
you can never
sure.
know.
right, but I'm sure
But-
you have that fear at least.
Yeah, and also just anybody.
Yeah.
Literally anybody, regardless
Yeah.
of whether or not you have been through that situation, should understand
Right.
that is devastating.
Right. And it's like kind of like, well, what are you expecting is going to happen? Like, what would
Yeah.
happen if she did survive, but we got a divorce anyway? Like, if we were
Yeah.
co-parenting, what would you expect if I had to see my ex-husband all the time to
Yeah.
like co-parent? Like what's going on here? We do have an edit. Just realized the title could be a little confusing. Yes, I told my partner he could help out, but truthfully, I'd rather do it just with my ex-husband, as we are her parents, hence the wanting it to be my ex. We do have an update. My partner did not back up on his displeasure over my ex-husband coming around to help pack up our late daughter's bedroom. He said some very hurtful things regarding me, my ex-husband, and my late daughter that I will not post here, as it would probably get my post removed. He then told me if I didn't call off my ex-husband coming around for this, he'd break up with me as he wouldn't put up with it. Clearly thinking I'd back down as I wouldn't want to be a single parent. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He seemed so smug as he made this threat.
Wow.
That is so insane.
Yeah, I mean, tough that it's coming out right when you're about to have a kid, but
yeah.
not a person that you want to raise a child with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a good time to have this
Yeah.
come up so like problems don't happen while you're like having this child and still married
Yeah.
or like still together. Maybe you just need to leave. And then maybe can you imagine if you like, this might not happen, but if you,
I'm imagining.
if you're,
Don't you worry.
yeah, if you break up with this guy and then you're like going through your daughter's things with your ex-husband and then you guys fall in love again and then boom, you get to raise a child together. Boom. What if? What if? By this point, I was already seeing red. He could insult me all he wanted, but the things he said about my daughter, I told him to get the F out of my house and never come back and kicked him out, throwing his stuff after him in a fit of rage. Nothing breakable, don't worry, and that was that. I then spent the day crying over all of this. A few days later, my ex-husband came around and we packed up our daughter's room. During it, he asked me if my partner was around. I explained the situation to him and he was so pissed off on my behalf.
Ooh.
Ooh,
how pissed off was he?
He spent the rest of the afternoon comforting me about it.
Ooh. How comforting was
he? He would call me every day to check if I needed anything or help with anything, as I'm starting to get less agile and began to spend more time around to help out.
Ooh. How much more time?
Listen. The last 2 nights, he's actually been sleeping on my sofa in case I need anything during the night, as I went into labor with our daughter a few weeks further along than I am right now, and he keeps fretting about what if that happens while I'm alone.
Let's cut out the middleman. Put him in your bed.
Let's just go straight to it.
Let's just get down to it.
Stop it with all this funny business.
Yeah.
Let's just admit.
We don't need to beat around the bush.
No, we don't. And by the way, it would be right for you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast app you prefer. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but
I think that you might be right, Angie.
Excited to read this.
I
next
think
line.
they're gonna get together. And my
I was
advice
not
is
expecting that.
I mean, you already got rid of your ex, you stinky little ex.
Right.
But I assume custody might be a little bit of a difficult thing.
Yeah. But I mean,
Uh,
listen, I'm sure we can figure it out.
I'm sure.
Especially like if
Oh,
'cause
the
you don't have proof.
satisfaction of. I mean, okay, don't parent like this, but it's kind of gonna be satisfying if
Yeah.
you're with your ex,
Yeah.
who your new ex doesn't like your old ex,
Yeah.
and then you get back with your old ex, and then your new ex has to co-parent with you.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, because you're my ex, then yeah, I can't have you around. I thought that was
Yeah, I
respecting
thought you
boundaries.
didn't want. I thought you
But
said
that was
you
weird
shouldn't
for
have
you.
them around.
Yeah. So there's a little bit more to the story. Last night, he asked me if I'd consider going out for something to eat with him to see about possibly restarting things.
Ooh la la!
No pressure, just to test the waters. I agreed, as having him around so much and being so helpful reminded me of all our good times and why I fell in love with him in the first place. I was so not expecting to be right. I'm so happy about this. We are taking it slowly, one day at a time. Ironic that my ex-partner's jealousy and actions may have caused exactly what he wanted to avoid. On the subject of my ex-partner, he has not been around since or called me, and I am getting a lawyer involved to check what I should do in regards to our son moving forward. It was an easy split as we weren't married. The house is in my name and always has been, and he had only moved in after I got pregnant by accident. Yeah, I think you're good then. Like
I think you're golden, man.
you're totally good. You like didn't really need to be with this partner
Yeah.
or like, things kind of rushed with that other partner because
Yeah.
of the baby. Clearly he's wrong for you because of everything that he said about
Yeah.
your late
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
I don't even know what it was, but any sort of
Yeah.
insult about that is
Whack.
beyond
Wild.
passing the line.
Hey,
Oh,
OP, are you Huntrix? Because you're golden.
You're
Golden.
golden. Gonna be golden.
Yeah.
My girlfriend refused to learn sign language for my daughter, so I called her out. And that was sign language for our listeners.
Yeah.
My daughter Ruby was born mute. She can understand words, but we use sign language to communicate. While she can use her phone or write, she obviously prefers to sign. The issue is my girlfriend, Amanda. By the way, this comes from throwaway AITA 8317. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
Sophia
With
with hiccups. Yeah. I'm Keon, and that's Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we've been dating for around 9 months, and we introduced our children about 3 months ago. They don't know sign language, so communication with Ruby was awkward at first. She hates having to write or use her phone at home. I taught Amanda some basic signs beforehand, and I've continued teaching her and Mia more in this time. Mia's getting a lot better, actually. But Amanda has apparently decided it's too hard and refuses to learn anymore. She said that it's unnecessary, since Ruby can understand her and communicate in other ways. While Ruby is usually willing to do that for them, she doesn't enjoy it and finds it frustrating. I told Amanda she's being selfish and lazy. It's not fair to put all the effort on Ruby. It's one thing if she doesn't get it after years, but it's only been a few months. It's just ridiculous. We got into a fight over it, and she basically called me an a-hole and said it's not her fault she struggles with it. But that doesn't mean she should just give up. If she wants to be in our life, it's the bare minimum effort to put in. I think she's just being selfish, while she thinks I'm an a-hole and unfair. I vented to my brother, and he agreed with Amanda. He said I can't force her to learn, and not everyone is good with language. He also said Ruby doesn't need it and that I'm coddling her. I'm honestly still pissed off, but I do love Amanda. She's normally thoughtful and kind, and I guess it's possible it's just me being overprotective of Ruby. It's not. Amanda sucks. I think it's a reasonable expectation, but I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I the a-hole? We have some comments. Commenter 1, not the a-hole. This should be a deal breaker for you. Opie says, I've been thinking it might be, but my brother's reaction made me doubt myself. She's never been like this before, so it took me by surprise. Comment 2, not the a-hole. Do you see a future with a woman who point blank refuses to speak to your daughter? Opie says, it's not that she refuses. They do have a way to talk. It's just not as preferred to her. Either way, I think it's wrong. I was already thinking it was worth ending it. It's just my brother and her got in my head, and I worried I was crazy. That person replies, you're not crazy. This is a red flag for your brother, too. I hope he has learned signs so he can communicate with your daughter. Maybe this is the way of excusing his own lack of engagement. Commenter 3, your girlfriend being unwilling to make a minimal effort to communicate with your child in a way that the child is most comfortable with is a bit of an a-hole move, but so is expecting your girlfriend of 9 months to learn an entire language to communicate with a child they aren't parenting. It seems like you've drawn a line in the sand that Amanda learns to sign for your kid or she's not going to be in your life. Amanda has shown you she's not up for that, so respond accordingly. Everyone sucks here. Commenter 4, gonna go against the grain here and say you're the a-hole, not for wanting to protect your daughter, but for not divulging to your girlfriend the real reason you want her to learn sign language. Telling your girlfriend that communicating in a way they do is frustrating for her can make someone completely 180. Telling her she's being lazy and selfish is exactly what she responded to. Unfair and an a-hole. Your tone saying she apparently decided it was too hard paints a bigger picture for me. You've not given her a great reason to learn, called her selfish for not communicating despite them having a reason, and called her lazy for not picking it up in the short time they've known each other.
But that's not
I
what
feel like
he
that part was
said.
misinterpreted a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't, I'm mad that my girlfriend Amanda hasn't picked up sign language in 9 months.
It's mad that she
I'm
doesn't
mad
wanna
that she
try.
just started to learn it after 9 months and
Yeah.
is already giving up.
Yeah, like
Like-
literally she said, this is too, like, paraphrasing, but
Right.
this is too hard. I don't want to do anymore.
9 or so months in, and she's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to start learning sign. Great, 10 out of 10. And then
Yeah, I was
just
like,
immediately
no.
like, this is really
And
hard.
then other people around you are like, well, some people just can't do languages. Languages are hard. Languages are really hard. I don't know any other languages because they're really hard. But if I had a family member or a friend or someone who could only communicate in that way, I'd certainly try. I'd certainly put in a lot more work than just like a little bit and then give up.
You set her up for failure in the first place, and for that alone, you're the a-hole. If you had given her the reasoning, not called her lazy, and given her more time to learn it, then it would be on her. You haven't, so it isn't. We have an update. I want to thank everyone for the advice and responses. I definitely don't agree with everything, but I can see both sides. First, I do want to clear some stuff up. I'm not sure why so many people act like I sprung it on Amanda. I never said I did, and I certainly didn't. I told her up front about Ruby and was clear that I expected a partner to be willing to put in the effort for her sake. I also never criticized Amanda for not being fluent. I had no expectation it would be easy or quick. Heck, I struggled at first. I've never insulted her or had issues with her progress. My only issue was that she refused to try anymore.
Yeah, that was really clear.
Yeah. While my words were immature, it was only after she basically said it wasn't worth learning sign language that I got upset and said it. I find the idea it's too soon honestly strange. Wouldn't it be worse for us to be engaged or married before I know if she's willing to put in the effort for my daughter? I don't expect perfection, just for her to try.
Yeah.
I understand that Ruby needs to be able to communicate in other ways. She has to for school. But that doesn't mean she should be forced to at home. Besides all this, I did consider our relationship serious. I love Amanda. With that aside, I think it's mostly been resolved. Amanda came over and apologized for how she acted.
Slay.
She explained that she had been trying to hide how much she was struggling and got frustrated seeing how quickly Mia was getting it while she understood nothing. Basically, Amanda was seeing how quickly and effortlessly I was getting close to Mia and was feeling like she was useless with her lack of progress, especially knowing how important it was to me. We had a long talk about it. I apologized for my immature reaction and explained that it was always non-negotiable for me. And I brought up that if it would make her miserable and resentful, it may be better to separate. Amanda did not like that, and we talked about our relationship and expectations. I considered it serious the moment she met Ruby, while Amanda didn't see it quite the same way. She knew she wanted me in her life and understood that meant she had to try with Ruby. And by the way, I hope you guys understand that you can always listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
Do it. There's just a little bit more.
Sure is.
I'm glad they had a big talk, though.
Yeah, it seems like this was positive. You kind of got like that it was a lot of just fear about learning a language, which I don't want to, I don't want to say that Amanda is not valid in being frustrated, because I remember learning ASL on Zoom too, so it was even harder.
Crazy.
Oh my god, it was terrible. And being like, I don't, it's not like languages, spoken languages, because there are no cheat sheets, like you can't go, like there's Spanish dictionary for Spanish, and there's
ASL dictionaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
But when you're like it's not like a thing that you can read and write down. You would have to look up videos, for me at least, of like how that sign is done. There are certain signs that are easy to look at, but my point is it is a hard language, especially if you've never done anything like it.
Yeah, there's also so much social aspect behind it, of like when someone's signing to you, you're still supposed to look at their face. You're not supposed to look at their hands while they're signing,
There's so much
even though you're
cultural stuff that
understanding
goes
what their hands are saying, kind of thing. And it's so
And
facial
then there's
expression
facial- yeah.
driven.
So I totally get that she's struggling, is frustrated.
It was just the fact that
Yeah.
she was completely done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amanda has decided to find her own professional teaching.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
She thinks it will be better for her frustration to show there than with Ruby or I. I'll keep teaching Mia because she really enjoys it. It doesn't matter whether she is fluent as long as she's trying. I know Ruby will appreciate the effort. For now, Ruby will still have to use other methods to communicate. She was anyway. But hopefully one day she won't have to. Unfortunately, my brother stands by what he says. He said that even though Amanda has given in, it was still unfair of me. That I'm lucky Amanda is willing to put up with it. I've honestly lost a lot of respect for him with all of this. I don't understand how he can still think that about Ruby and I. Still, overall, I'd say it's gone well. Thanks for the advice. Whichever way you lent, I think we'll be able to get through it. And that is the end of that story.
My husband neglects our daughters to hang out with his nephews.
Well, maybe his nephews are cooler.
Boys, boy time, boy time, boy time. Hi.
Hi.
I had an issue yesterday with my husband, which I'm conflicted about, regarding whether I was in the wrong. My husband and I have 2 daughters, 6 and 8. My sister-in-law and her family live a couple of blocks away from us, and they have 2 boys, both 9 years old. Her husband is in the army, so he's away from home a lot. By the way, this comes from user Reasonable Vast 2576. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
We're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do, so just tell us what you would do
We're not Benoit Blanc.
in the comments. When he's away, the boys come to our house often. They are great boys, respectful and energetic. When they're here, my husband takes them to the park to play soccer. They always say they have a great time, and my sister-in-law also thanks us for it. When they're not around, my husband takes our daughters to the park too. I often join them, and they also look forward to it. However, when my husband takes the boys along, even though we encourage our girls to go along, they tell me they do not enjoy it. Basically, the boys get super competitive, and it's not fun the way it is when it's just them with my husband. I take them along by myself, but apparently it is not as much fun. My husband can also only do some days of the week, and when their father is away, the boys come on those days. Yesterday, I asked my husband to talk to his sister and set some kind of limit to those days because our daughters like going to the park with him for soccer, and it's not the same with me or when they go with him and the boys. He looked taken aback and said that they're good kids. Their dad is away for long stretches, and they seem to have fun there. I said I never said they were not good kids, just that our daughters felt like they were missing out. He said he'll encourage them more to come with them, and he'll make sure things don't get too competitive.
That's not the issue, though. They just want to do stuff with their dad. He needs to understand that they probably just want to do stuff like with him that they like, not necessarily cater to what the nephews like, which is what he seems to
Well,
be
they
doing.
want to go to the park and play soccer. They just don't want to play it with the nephews because then the nephews get too competitive.
Yeah, maybe he sits them out. They do shifts. He goes, okay, boys, hit the showers. Girls, let's go.
All right, boys, you run 10 laps around the field. As a
Yeah.
warm-up. It's a warm-up.
Maybe we do that.
And then
Maybe
they get
we
all
go, boys,
tired.
run around the field. Girls come in, play a little soccer. Girls run around the field. Boys come in. Like, maybe we switch off.
Yeah, bring another ball.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a variety of
crazy.
balls. Soccer ball, tennis ball, volleyball,
Wiffle ball, baseball,
pickleball.
Pickleball.
pickle.
It's a shuttlecock. I said we've gone through that before, and it is just not fun for them. He said telling his nephews this would be cruel and made it sound like I was an a-hole for suggesting it, so I wanted to ask, am I the a-hole?
But I think there's got to be an easy solution to this. There just must be.
Have their dad retire from the military.
Yeah, easy.
Easy
Easy.
peasy. I mean,
Have the little boys join the military as the ball catchers.
I don't think anyone's really an a-hole here because he's like, well, they need they're my nephews and they need like their dad is gone all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe
Maybe just switch off.
your daughters and then OP can take the nephews.
And then we switch, and then OP takes daughters, dad takes girls.
I think
Oh, wait,
it's a
no,
good
dad
thing
takes
though.
boys.
If competition is good.
Yeah, but if they're being rough,
I don't know if they're being rough. They're just competitive.
they might be being rough.
Work hard, play hard. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think there's
Teach
an
the
easy
girls to
solution.
be strong.
It's not about strength.
We've got some comments. Comment 1. There has to be a happy medium to be found. Can you play with the boys at the park some days while your husband spends more time with the girls? Can your husband plan other activities that aren't soccer for everyone to do together? I agree he needs to prioritize the girls, but don't think any group has to suffer to do so. OP says, I'll try suggesting this. Thank you. I've tried with the girls, but they're not nearly as enthusiastic about it with me than with their dad. He makes it a lot more fun for them. The boys might be easier to keep happy, LOL. Yes, just give them rocks.
Well, the thing is that I think what you do is you have dad take them to the parks when it's his time with each group, and then you do another activity with them. And then everything's chill. And you find your own activity that they like to do with you.
You say, boys, we're going to the park. We're going to find as many worms as possible.
Yeah, search for worms or roly-polies.
Yeah, we're bug folk.
Mm-hmm.
Info. Do you and sister-in-law take your daughters to do fun activities like mini spa days or take them out for ice cream? If not, then it might be something to consider. I get it, your daughters miss spending time with their dad when their cousins come over, but how often can the boys say that about their dad? They need some male influence. And it appears their uncle is all they have. I'll say, no a-holes here. OP says, yes, I do take them out. Not really with my sister-in-law, I guess, but we all do go out to eat together sometimes. Comment 3 says, not the a-hole, but I understand why your husband feels bad about telling his nephews he won't spend as much time with them. I'm very close with mine, and it would break my heart to disappoint them. I think the solution might be in finding another activity to do with all the kids. Let's say the boys are there twice a week. Maybe they go play soccer once, and the other day they do an activity that the girls and boys enjoy. Or a day he goes with the boys, and the next one you do something with the boys, and he goes with the girls. Unless you're not close with them or don't really have a bond, splitting up the time between both parents so you both spend time with your nephews and your daughters might be a good solution. OP says someone else suggested the same, and I liked that approach. I, along with my sister-in-law together, maybe, could do these park sessions with the boys on days my husband is busy so that the girls get their one-on-one soccer time with their dad. Comment 4. Question. What does the split in time look like? And how much quality and separate time does your husband get with the boys versus his quality and separate time with his daughters? Let's say your husband takes the daughters 2 days a week, and then he takes the nephews 2 days a week, and then he has the nephews and the daughters 2 days a week. And the last day is all of you. In a case like this, it would feel like the nephews are prioritized more if they do take over playtime with your husband when the daughters are there. It's not clear how skewed the dynamic is, and there's an edit to add. Would it help if you watched from afar to see the dynamics firsthand to understand how your husband is when it's just him and the 4 kids? What exactly does competitive mean? And does it change how your husband interacts with the kids? OP replies. So Tuesdays, Sundays, and sometimes Fridays are when he takes them for soccer. And I'm reading the comments, and some seem to suggest I'm jealous. It's not that. It's just I've seen how much my daughters look forward to those days when the boys don't come around, when their father's here. They get all dressed in their kit and come back super happy. When their father's away, the boys come on these days, sometimes not Tuesdays. And the girls used to accompany them all. But they've just complained now it's not fun for them, and only really look forward when it's just their dad and them. I've seen them all play. When he's playing with our daughters, their play is unstructured and just them running around. With the boys, I've seen him try to keep it like that, but it just becomes a bit competitive, and my daughters start doing their own thing midway through. Comment 5, not the a-hole. If it's so bad that even his daughters see it, then he is seriously neglecting his kids. He either needs to find something different that all the kids will enjoy together, or discipline the boys for being too competitive and make sure his own children feel involved.
I don't think it's neglecting.
Yeah.
I think when you having taken care of, like, you know, I've taken care of 4 kids at a time, and I've taken care of, like, it was like 3 boys, 1 girl split. This family I used to babysit for. And a lot of times the boys would want to do, like, we would have like Nerf fights in the basement or like run around, play tag or whatever. And the older girl, she didn't necessarily want to do that all. And so I would do,
I'm sorry.
I would do that with the younger boys, and then maybe I'd set them up with something, and then I'd go hang out with her. I don't think necessarily the answer is, like, tell the boys to, unless they're roughhousing and being, like, too rough. I don't think that, like, the answer has to be, stop being competitive, like, stop doing that. I think it could just be, like, let's have girl time, daddy, daughter time, daddy, nephew time. Mommy, daughter time, mommy, nephew time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's neglect. I think it's just figuring out how to babysit 4 kids who have different interests at the same time, which is tricky.
Take him to the aquarium.
I'm guessing there's an element of favoritism in here, too, in that he was probably hoping for a son to do all the sporty things with and ended up with 2 girls, which is ridiculous because my daughters have way more in common with their dad than a son would.
I want to say that sounds inaccurate to what we're reading.
You're ridiculous, commenter.
I will say I'll call it out. if I see it in a story, but that it doesn't feel like what's happening here, especially because we know that he likes taking his daughters to the park.
Yeah.
We know that that's like a established thing. He likes playing soccer, kicking ball with them. It's just right now when he takes them all, they don't like to join in because the boys get too competitive. So yeah,
OP
I don't think that's an issue here.
replies, my daughters do like sporty things.
Yeah.
They really look forward to going to the park with him when it's just them. And I really have tried to do the same things he does with them at the park. But I honestly don't know where I'm going wrong.
Well, maybe go with them next time, learn from the best.
Yeah, get it right from the horse's
Yeah.
mouth. And my husband also put up a basketball hoop in our backyard, and the girls are really into shooting hoops with him too. And they haven't told him about their issue with playing with the boys directly. My oldest just said she doesn't want to, and my husband just kind of said, that's okay. But when he and the boys had left, I asked her and her sister, and they said they don't like playing with the boys. They steal the ball and play too fast, etc. I would probably just take the nephews. I'd be like, hey, your cousins are 6, right? So when you beat them in soccer, you're not really doing anything. Instead of trying to make it like a thing where you win, let's just make it a thing where we all have fun.
Yeah. And then
Maybe slow it down a little bit.
And then you can even, you can have the time where you say, hey, when we're playing with the girls, these are the rules. We're going to be a little bit chiller. And then we'll do a little game. We'll switch off. We'll do a little game with just the, people who want to be competitive. And then we'll do a little, chiller game. I don't know. You can have both.
Yeah, you won't be competitive, then you'll go up against me.
Yeah. You could literally just challenge them and then, or your husband could challenge them and then go back and then say, okay, you guys go play for a bit. Go find sticks. I don't know. And then I'll play with the girls.
Yep.
I think there's an easy solution here.
Another commenter says, not to jump to conclusions whatsoever, but is there any chance your husband potentially wanted sons instead of daughters? Wow, look at you jumping immediately.
These people didn't read the story. He clearly likes playing or, doing sporty activities with his daughters. And so do the daughters. I don't know. I think these people are being a little bit assumptive to think oh, the girls don't want to play sports. It's not the case.
Nonetheless, not the a-hole. He needs to lock in and spend some undivided time with his daughters. OP says all we cared about when we were having them was that they be healthy. My husband loves my daughters and dotes on them. I know I made the post and maybe didn't provide enough background, but both my daughters are daddy's girls. And honestly, it's part of the reason I felt the need to ask him, because they're not getting the time with him that I know they enjoy. And there is an update. Wow,
those commenters did not read the story.
They just wanted him to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
In
I don't
this
really
case,
think anyone
yeah.
here is the bad guy.
No, he's literally spending time with his nephews whose father is currently in the military on leave. Or not on leave, but currently, in the military. What's the word? I wanted to say on call. That's all right.
On duty.
Deployed. On duty. Active military member. So I think to say oh, he's a bad person for wanting to spend time with his nephews who don't have a father right now, or around them at least, pretty narrow-minded. And it's clear that he loves his daughters and wants to play. They just need to find an activity that works.
Update. Since today was a holiday, he was going to let his sister know that he'd be taking the kids to the park earlier today, so the boys should come earlier. I asked my older daughter separately whether she wanted to go, and she said no, even though she had been hyped for it in the morning. I told my husband this. While she was cuddling with him, he asked her why she didn't want to come, but she was avoiding giving a reason. Eventually, my husband asked if it was because she didn't like playing soccer anymore. She said no, she did. Then he brought up whether it was because of the cousins, and she shyly admitted that yes, but didn't give the details that she'd given me about the competitive nature and everything. My husband hadn't texted his sister yet, so he told the girls the boys can't join right now, and if they still wanted to go to the park, we could all go. Both my daughters suddenly really wanted to go and went to get dressed.
I think you just create a schedule.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, girl, we're going to have an hour, and then boys are going to come in an hour, and there we go. Because he already said, oh, well, let's do it earlier. So clearly, he's got that time.
I think you should change the activity to some form of jousting. If you had them ride on my brain is seeing pigs. Put the children on the back of some
pigs?
large pigs.
Minecraft style? Carrot on a stick?
Yeah, and then just to sort of joust with a
foam,
some kind of foam or plastic object.
Yeah.
Or have the girls roll the boys around.
Yeah.
Because I know the boys would love that and the girls would love that.
Put the boys in a big hamster ball and have the girls kick it around.
Because I think they have a reasonable, gripe, these girls. Because I remember being 3-4 years younger than a lot of the boys I was playing with because my brother was 4 years older, and you want to keep up with them, but like you're much younger, so you can't necessarily, because I think the split is like 6 and 9 or whatever. Like the boys are 9ish,
Boys are 9.
and the girls are like
Girls
6 and 7.
7.
6, 7. Oh, wow.
We're at the park now, and the girls are having fun with him. I think he's going to take the boys later in the evening. I'm not sure. But my daughter telling him seems to have made more of an impact than me saying it did. Update 2.
Heck yeah, look at that.
Update 2. A few people have asked me if we've made any progress. So last Tuesday, after we'd gone to the park in the afternoon with the girls because of the holiday, he'd planned on taking the boys separately. I'd told him he'd be too tired, but then he couldn't because he was beat, so he told his sister something had come up. His Fridays are a hit or miss on when he gets back. It kind of depends. He usually knows beforehand, though. So my oldest daughter had asked him about his Friday plan on Thursday night. He had said he'd be back early and they'd be good to go to the park. He then talked to her about whether it would be a good idea to have her cousins come too, saying it would be fun like they all used to have, and the girl said okay. When they came back, my husband thought he'd done a good job moderating things, and the girls also said it had been okay. They weren't as enthusiastic as they are when they come with him alone, so over the weekend, I just asked my oldest if their playtime at the park had gone better because Daddy had been trying to make it fun for everyone. She said it was, but that he isn't as into the game with them as he is otherwise. Basically, the gist of what I was getting was that he takes more of a referee role, and it's just different from what they're used to. I've gone along when it's just us, so I kind of understand what she's talking about. It's supposed to be them playing soccer with him, but it's not really. It's very unstructured, and they'll start playing whatever the girls feel like midway through. It's just more spontaneous, I guess. I had planned on bringing it up with him on Sunday before they all left for the park. My daughter seemed shy about saying all this, so I thought I would. But she actually brought this up with him herself.
Aw.
On Saturday night, when we were watching TV, she asked him if we couldn't invite the cousins tomorrow. My husband said okay, but asked her why she didn't want the cousins there. He later told me he was just concerned about this issue she had with them and wanted to know it wasn't anything serious. She just said they don't have as much fun, so he dropped it at that. I'd had this idea from a few comments on my original post, so I told him I'll tell his sister to still send the boys earlier and I'll go with them. He agreed. So I took them out earlier and tried to keep up with him, but I thought it went well. I took them for ice cream after, too. The boys got a good outing, and my sister-in-law got some rest as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Very nice.
And by the way, you can get some full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform like iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to an absurd, quite frankly, amount of stories.
It is freaking crazy.
You can do it at the park. You can do it in the dark.
You can do it on a boat.
You can do it with a
In a moat.
moat.
You can do it in the sky.
You can do it with a pie.
You can do it down low.
Okay.
You're too slow.
I think this is all looking good.
It's not enough jousting for me.
Yeah. Could be more jousting. That's my like critique. But in terms of, what you can do without a joust, it seems better than it was before.
What can I say? I'm a joust kind of guy.
And that's not a crime. Nor is wanting to have daddy-daughter time.
It's not a crime to have daddy-daughter time unless you make them joust all the time.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
didn't
that's
work.
what I forgot about that nursery
Slime.
rhyme. Joust in the slime.
I think you guys are doing all right.
You did good.
You did good.
You did good. I
You
would
did
have.
good.
I would have had the boys find more rocks. Find more rocks.
Find more rocks.
Say, boys, go find me the best rock in the park.
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
That will preoccupy them for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, we were going to do the same thing, but my sister-in-law told us the boys said they'll just wait for when my husband is free. No!
OP.
I think it needs to be like, okay, you don't need to keep up with them doing soccer. Like I'm saying, get them to find the coolest rock in the park.
I think you just need to focus on clearly Every time we try to do soccer with them, doesn't work out. So let's just do different activity with the boys and the girls. You can be different activity mom, and dad can be soccer dad.
That's right.
Let's try that.
She asked him when he'd be free and whether his free days had changed. He said there'd just been some changes to his schedule. I was of the opinion he should tell her honestly what the issue was, but he seems to think making our daughters the focus of the conversation would be wrong. I disagree, but she is his sister. So he went yesterday with the girls by himself. They've been super happy, but he said he'll come up with something for the boys too. It's a bit disappointing because I thought the solution I had tried went well, but apparently not. So it's still a work in progress. And that is the end of that story.
There you go.
I will champion.
Joust.
I will champion the joust.
I think you start like if you do kind of a Ren fair like type announcer thing where you're like, now we have our contestants. On this side we have Sir Child's name of
Sir Child.
Sir Child, and on this side we have other Sir Child.
Sir Daughter.
Sir Daughter.
Sir Daughter and Sir Child.
And they are going to fight to the unaliving.
And they're going to fight until one of them goes, ow.
And then
I'm
we all
trying
get
to
ice
turn
cream.
all of the children in your family into warriors.
I think it could work.
Okay.
I genuinely think that would be fun. I think that if you make the kind of referee, I think we could find a middle ground here.
Once you instill the warrior spirit within the children, they won't mind that it's too competitive. They will yearn for more competitive.
Yeah.
That is the end of that story.
Sure.
And you know what that means? That means we've got another one
Sure do.
coming right up.
My wife ignored our baby name agreement, then blocked me during the delivery.
Whoa.
Hello, I am a 31-year-old man. I mostly only use Reddit to ask about hardware questions, so this is a throwaway account. My wife, 32, and I met at an anime convention in university and started dating a few years later. It's always been part of our story and relationship, both being nerds and everything. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Dumbest Name, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we have been married for 6 years now, and we have been trying for a baby now that we bought a house. We made 2 lists of names while trying, since we had a bit of a hard time. She very badly wanted to name our child something that would reference a fandom we liked. Ooh, okay. All right. And I agreed it would be very cute, but I told her it'd be better if the reference was subtle. I told her I did not want our child to have a name that was too obviously tied to a fandom or character. She said she understood. Yeah, that's a little worrisome if she's wanting to call your child something really obviously out of a fandom.
Yeah, I hate babies who have that wasn't the end. That wasn't the
I
end of the
hate
statement.
babies.
It wasn't the end of the statement.
Period.
I hate babies who have like weird names like Terrace or like
Harris?
Forest.
Forrest is not so bad. Forrest Gump. You know what? You need to work on.
No, there's names. I actually have a
Give me
list. I have a
names.
list.
She got pregnant, and we each chose a top contender from our list. However, when we found out the baby was a girl, she became fixated on naming our daughter Vriska from Homestuck. I don't know that anime. Specifically, Vriska. I said no multiple times. She insisted it was meaningful because fandoms are a part of our relationship. She wouldn't even hear me out on any other names from Homestuck in that month. Eventually, we had a very heartfelt conversation about it and ended up agreeing that she could choose the name, but from our previously written list, which already contained plenty of subtle references. Early in her 3rd trimester, her mother offered to organize us a baby shower. Our daughter will be the first girl of this generation in her family, so she was very excited. Everything was going great until we opened the gifts from her direct family. Her mom gifted her a set of onesies with the name Vriska printed across the front. Her brother gifted a sort of wooden plaque with Vriska burned into it for the nursery. I was very upset, but I did not say anything. I confronted her once we got home, saying we had agreed not to do this. She immediately exploded, yelling, tears, accused me of being ashamed of our hobbies. Just because OP doesn't want to name his kid Vriska doesn't mean he's ashamed of you guys watching anime. I ended up having to try to calm her down while still trying to maintain my point. When, after like 20 minutes of this, I firmly said, we are not naming our daughter that, she grabbed onto my right arm while screaming. It was extremely weird. She's always been a bit impulsive, but she's never done stuff like this. She grabbed the onesies and called her family from the front door patio. She was on the phone the whole time her mom drove here and would scream if I tried to come out. Is she having a breakdown?
Yeah, that's like,
This is so overboard.
and I mean, I'm guessing you're pretty old. Not
Yeah.
like, elderly by any chance. But I mean, like, you've been together 6 years. Like, I would say.
Well, he's 30. Or he's 31.
Okay,
Yeah.
so grow up.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. She stayed with her mom and would not pick up my calls and would not open the door when I visited. She ended up being induced at the hospital at 33 weeks. After the birth, she tried to come back home. She made you miss the birth of your child? I said I could never forgive her for making me miss the birth of my first daughter, that we would need couples and individual therapy, and I asked her if she really did name our baby that. She said yes. I told her to leave. I said all mistakes were repairable, but if she did not agree to change our daughter's name to something we had actually discussed, I would file for divorce and fight her for custody. By the way, you don't have to fight for custody of full episodes of stories just like this, because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and listen to them for free if you search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thought?
I mean, I don't think it calls for divorce. I feel like that's big.
The thing is that if it were just the name thing, I'd be like, yeah, there's a way to get through that. Shouldn't be divorce. But for her to scream at him, freak out, not see him for seemingly weeks, month, I don't know, make him miss the birth of his child over this whole thing.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like him asking her to change the name is basically saying you need to show that you have changed and that you're willing to compromise or, and work through whatever you just whatever freak out you just had. Or we can't continue.
Yeah. No, I understand completely where
Yeah.
OP is coming from. I just that seems like a silly thing to throw away 6 years worth. I
Yeah.
guess I'm just sentimental.
Yeah, no, I think if it were just the name, but I think because it's everything surrounding it that she did.
Yeah. Missing the birth of your child,
Yeah.
Saying no, he's not welcome to come, that's sick.
Pretty awful. Her family and most of my family think I'm being unreasonable. And what did they say to her?
Yeah.
Did they
'cause
say that
she's,
she was being unreasonable?
through a whole big
Yeah.
fit that induced her
Yeah.
into having her child because she freaked out.
And that I can just call the baby by her middle name. My sister said I should never put conditions to starting therapy. What do I do? How can I fix this? Am I being unreasonable for expecting my wife to not undermine me in such a dramatic way? Should I agree to let her move in and go to counseling before bringing the name up again? And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. A baby is a person, not a hobby or collectible. Comment 2 says, she's naming your child after a troll? OP says, yes, she was always really into Homestuck, and I read it too. Ah, that's why.
Wow.
But it was an anime, so it's a
okay.
manga? We both like the character, but I wouldn't name a Hispanic Caribbean child that. Comment 3, application, school, anything that uses a legal name, it's an absolutely terrible name and almost guaranteed for that child to despise it. Aside from being bullied, good luck with the resume with that. That poor kid is going to be so resentful as they grow up. You want to give her something that's stupid, do it as a middle name. No one knows nor cares about those. I bet as soon as she can, she'd legally change her name. The wife needs to understand this isn't a dog, but a person that'll be forced to use that name and begrudgingly have to use it. Common Force is not the a-hole. At this point, you'd be divorcing her for way more than just a name. She's shown that she will abandon you and keep you from your daughter in order to get her way. I think you should move forward with the divorce because your wife is highly unstable, and it sounds like her family all enable it. This most likely won't get better, and you should leave before she ends up pregnant again. I think before we jump straight to divorce, I do think I agree with OP's attempt to try and get couples counseling.
I agree with that as well.
Because it seems like your wife is in a very volatile state of mind and maybe she just needs help.
And also, it seemed like, even her sister was like, no, therapy's like not the way to go. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe that's like, something that has been instilled in them. Like, no, like, you don't need to see a shrink or all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so now
Totally
that's
could be.
just what they think. But don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. Common 5 says, not the a-hole. Baby names are a 2-yes situation and quite a consequential one. She crossed a massive red line. I would move forward with separation since this person very clearly does not respect you and does not see you as a full partner. At least that way, later on, when she tries to steamroll you on some other parenting decision, you will at least have a custody agreement to fall back on. Comment 6 says, Vriska is a truly awful name for a real person. LOL, your wife is insane for pulling this crap. And that's the end of the story.
I wouldn't go as far to say, like,
I don't think it's, like, awful.
yeah, I wouldn't go as far to say as, like, that's the most horrific name.
Yeah.
They're not going to get anything in life. They're going to get bullied. They're going to
That's
get this,
crazy.
blah, blah. Like,
I've heard so many weird children names, and Vriska
yeah.
is not, like, that bad.
yeah. If it was, like, microwave, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. I'd be like, your kid's gonna get bullied for being called a microwave.
If it literally was, like...
I don't know. Vriska's not that crazy. I think those comments are exaggerating. However, I don't think the issue is the name itself. It's like the situation surrounding naming that child, you know?
Yeah.
My wife overreacts when it comes to our kids, so I did something about it.
What did you do?
Let's find out. And there's a quick editor's note. OP clarifies in a comment she is a woman, and in the second post that the daughters are adopted.
Got it.
My 28 female wife, 26 female, Sophia, takes every scratch our daughters 7 and 5 get extremely seriously. Every bruise, every scraped knee, every cut is an emergency to her.
Oh, boy.
And because they're emergencies to her, they become emergencies to the girls. By the way, this comes from user OKPermit4302. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments, as OP says. Not only does this mean it's hard to tell when an injury is actually dangerous, like did she twist her ankle or break it, is her arm bruised or fractured, but the kids are responding badly to any hurt they feel now. At the mere sight of blood, the 7-year-old starts wailing like she's been stabbed. Even worse, her sister has started intentionally banging her arm into things or falling on concrete if she thinks she's not getting enough attention.
Oh, boy.
Last week, my wife took the oldest one to urgent care because she got a canker sore, and Sophia was convinced it was something more sinister.
Like what?
Like, what, hand, foot, and mouth disease?
The boogeyman bit me.
Come on. Yeah, it's a curse.
Yeah.
While she was gone, I had the younger one who was upset that Sophia had spent so long on her sister and had now taken her to the doctor to get special attentions. So she threw herself on the tile floor in front of me and started screaming and holding the wrist she hadn't actually twisted. I'm so tired of all this, I just let her scream. When I didn't give her the attention she wanted, her screaming in pain turned into sobbing because I wasn't cuddling her and kissing her better and promising her cookies and a late bedtime.
Oh my gosh.
I told her I'd be in the den with the cats when she felt like joining us. I felt like a witch for letting her cry herself out, but she's never going to learn to walk off scooter falls or getting hit with dodgeballs at this rate. And she can't be rewarded for this kind of behavior. It's just not healthy. I agree.
I agree as well.
I don't think you've done anything wrong.
This is the whole, like, you know the saying, like, mama didn't raise no witch? She is. So you're raising some witches.
You're raising a little goo goo gaga baby girl.
Yeah.
I bumped my elbow. I must go to hospital. But it's just complicated when it's like the attention factor is all mixed in there. It's just, yeah. You can't reinforce this as okay.
Especially now that they're like faking it too. Like they're faking it to get that attention.
Well, yeah, the
That's
younger
like a
one. Yeah.
whole nother issue.
Eventually, she ran out of tears and came to sit with us, and I let her have a watered down soda. Gross.
Yeah.
Well, when Sophia got back with the older kid who now had the same numbing gel we already had in the cabinet and $200 urgent care bill, our younger daughter told her what happened, and now she's furious at me for ignoring something that could have been serious. I told her she's the one making mountains out of molehills and feeding into the actual dangerous behavior. We've been fighting about it all week, and the kids have only been acting up more as a result. I am so tired of this. Maybe my appendix will burst and I can spend a few nights in the hospital away from this insanity. Sarcasm. And we have some comments. But what would your path forward be? What do you foresee? What do you imagine?
I don't know, because I feel like I wouldn't know how to explain to this woman, like, dude, this is actually a problem, because it's like you can't, like, I don't know what she expects this to turn into as they get older. Like, what happened? Like, are they never going to be able to live alone? Are they going to call us at school when they fall, when they're in high school? You know, it's like, what do you like this is that stuff would happen if we keep training them like this. So I just don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I think if I was with someone like this, I would see the signs immediately, and I would not want to be in a relationship with someone like this.
Yeah. It's I feel like this really just boils down to, like, she needs some kind of therapy to help cope with the stress of, you know, having kids and being worried about them.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always envisioned myself is, it's like I would be such a mess constantly.
Just being worried.
All I would be thinking about is, like, is this kid all right?
Yeah.
Always.
Which
and
makes
like,
sense.
I would be so easily manipulated. Like, if my kid just cried at me, I'd be like, oh my God, yeah, whatever you want. Like,
yeah.
I'd be so bad.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not a parent.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I've weighed that and said that might be my worst nightmare. So maybe I'm not looking for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do have some comments. I think trying to nudge her into therapy and approaching it with empathy, being like, I understand why you feel this way, because
Right.
we love our kids.
Yeah.
And we want them to be okay.
Yeah.
But what this is doing is not actually helping them to be okay.
Right.
It's teaching them that they shouldn't be okay.
Yeah.
Because then they get special treatment.
Yeah. Because that honestly is, like, even younger than these kids, which are 7 and 5. You already have to start doing that, like, in the first, like, couple years or something. I'm pretty sure you have to start letting them cry some things out on their own. Not everything, not a lot, but, like, some things.
Yeah.
They have to start self-soothing.
Comments from Lord B 6673 says, "Oh man, I am a pediatric ER doctor and have a lot of experience with this issue through the lens of my practice." This is a very valuable perspective.
Yeah.
It sounds like your wife is doing major damage to your kids. The fact that they are deliberately causing, or at least faking, injuries for attention is really concerning. I've seen all kinds in the department. Some kids are really tough and they deal with even serious injuries calmly. And then again, there are some that really don't. Of course, young children can't be expected to be stoic when they're hurt, but when that hurt is just having their ears looked at, it's something that they should be helped understand and endure. Some parents will not let me look because the child doesn't want it. I certainly don't want you to neglect your kids, but they do need to be taught in an age-appropriate way how to be resilient when something relatively minor happens. Resilience is one of the most important things a child can learn. I once saw a young woman who was maybe 23. I see adults also. I do about 50-50. She had a relatively minor injury. She forgot to put her car in park, tried to get out, and the car rolled backwards about 3 feet and knocked her down. She had no visible injuries, but on exam, I could not rule out any single part of her body as being injured. You touch her wrist, she screams. You touch her knee, screams. Abdomen, flank, neck, all extremities. So I ordered a whole lot of x-rays. It isn't good practice, but there wasn't really anything I could do. And those poor x-ray techs. Every time they moved her, even just a couple of inches to place the x-ray plate, you guessed it, screaming. Meanwhile, her family's now in the room and carrying on in the same way. After maybe 10 x-rays, which were very difficult to take and were all completely 100% normal, I said, all right, we're done with diagnostics. I don't know how, but I eventually got her up and home, with 0 injuries other than some abrasions. Patients like these are their own worst enemy and make it so much harder to find out what is actually going on and treat them appropriately. It certainly seemed like it was a learned behavior. Best wishes on navigating this issue with your family, and we do have an update.
Wow, that's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah, fake screaming babies turn into fake screaming adults.
Yeah, and just the fact that like they're not going to be able to actually get the help that they need when they need it, because I mean, one, it's going to be a whole boys cried wolf thing, and then what that commenter said. That's a very good point.
Yeah, but we do have an update. Clarifications. 1, this is not Munchausen's by proxy. My wife does not hurt them. She is not poisoning them or looking to feed them or posting all over social media about how great she is and how lucky the girls are, or trying to scam people out of money. Sophia is not worrying for the attention of it. She's trying to ensure that they don't feel ignored and neglected, to the point that she takes everything they say seriously. But she's gone too far, and now it's backfiring. The few people who pointed out that the younger's behavior of faking injuries or actually giving herself a bruise could develop into something more serious are correct, however, which is a concern that I also have. 2, attention. The girls get attention. They get plenty of attention from both of us. They are not being neglected to the point that they need to injure themselves as a cry for help. For one thing, my older daughter doesn't do that. She is just genuinely convinced that bruises could be internal bleeding and any bump on the head could be a concussion, which means that I'm going to have to give her the period talk pretty soon, or she's going to think she's passing away if hers starts early.
Dude, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, she's going to like pass out in fear.
Oh man. That would be pretty rough.
Yeah.
For another thing, the younger one tends to only do it when she thinks her sister is getting something she wants, or we said no earlier in the day. They get attention, but they get special attention when they are sick or hurt. Someone in the comments last time suggested flipping it to discourage the younger girl's behavior by essentially taking away fun things and forcing them to rest when they're sick or hurt.
That's a good idea.
A few other people suggest pain charts of some variety or first aid classes. Those might help with the older one and Sophia herself. That was probably the most viable advice I got. And 3, therapy right now is not an option. We had a very bad experience with a highly regarded adoption specialist therapist a few years ago that resulted in our older daughter having more issues with her adoption than she did when we started. Issues that we've had to figure out how to manage on our own because the 2 therapists we tried after that only compounded and exacerbated these new issues. My daughter would have been better off if she'd never been to therapy in the first place. As a result, my wife has lost almost all of her faith in mental health professionals. Quite frankly, I lost the majority of mine as well, and while I've made mention of it to Sophia, my bigger focus is on getting her to just change this one behavior. For no, my wife does not have postpartum anything. And on to the actual update. After a couple of other comments brought up how my girls behave away from us, I decided to ask. My wife works a normal 9 to 5 while I work 3 12s from 6 p.m. to a.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. During the winter, they have school and daycare, respectively. This winter, the younger one will be in kindergarten, though, and during the summer, they both go to daycare from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on my work days, and just in the mornings on the other days as needed. I do drop-offs and pickups. When I picked them up on Monday, I decided to ask one of the caretakers how the girls had been behaving. She told me they were fine, they bickered sometimes, but there was nothing unusual going on. I asked what happens when they get hurt or feel sick during the day, how they handle it, etc. I didn't tell them about my wife. I didn't want to be telling tales out of or at school. I think she might have thought I was looking for help, which technically I was, because she told me that as soon as a kid falls down or takes a ball to the face or anything else, they start the whole interaction by telling them, "You're okay," and assessing the damage calmly as they approach. Even if the kid is bleeding, they don't react. They say something like, "Wow, that looked kind of scary. I bet it surprised you. Let's see your arm or leg," or whatever. She basically wrote me a script. I asked her how my girls reacted to it, and she told me that the older one was a little more sensitive than her peers. She cried easily, and they had to be extra firm with the "you're okays" with her. The younger one, she saw a little less. She's in a different age bracket. She had only just turned 5, so she's still technically in the pre-K group, but she'd never heard anything about her. I asked what exactly they do if a kid is bleeding or bruised. For bruises, they can sit with a little ice pack for 15 minutes before they need to come back to the ground, unless it's actually serious, and for cuts, they get a wash and a Band-Aid. So nothing exciting as far as I could tell. But by the way, you should be excited that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you've got a whole daycare full of stories just waiting to get picked up
Oh yeah.
by your ears.
Yep.
And there's a little bit more story left here. Do we have any
Yeah.
closing thoughts?
I really hope that this like script helps because I think I mean if we look at it from a empathetic perspective, I mean it's the mom probably just doesn't know how to react to her own feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe she remembers her parents reacting like she is, and that's why it's just kind of easy to fall into that, but
Yeah.
she doesn't realize how it's affected her.
Yeah.
You know? But something we gotta fix, and I really hope that it fixes.
Yeah, it's unsustainable right
Yeah,
now.
it's early
You're not
enough,
setting them up for success.
right? And they're young enough to be able to change this. If they were that 23-year-old, you're lost.
You're done.
You're done.
You're
It's
cooked,
too late.
as they say.
Exactly.
Let's finish this. The fact that we haven't been called into the school to pick up our totally terribly injured 5-year-old before tells me that she knows she won't get mother's special treatment at the school. And since I will be the one picking her up, if they think she's too sick or something, there's really no point in kicking up too much of a fuss, unless she just wants to hold something cold for a few minutes. Neither of the girls have been hurt or sick this week. We stopped arguing because I frankly do not have the energy to do so constantly. I'll look into the pain chart and first aid classes and bring up boring damage mitigation soon, once we've both had time to calm down. And that is the end of that story. And it sounds like you're on a path forward towards getting out of the weeds.
That's great.
You know?
That's wonderful.
My partner is furious because I wasn't helpful when my stepdaughter locked herself out.
Learn how to do a B&E, all right?
I, female 39, am in a relationship with my partner, male 49, John. We have been together about 8 to 9 years. John has a daughter from a previous relationship, Emily, who is an adult turning 30 soon. I have a good relationship with her. I couldn't possibly call myself her stepmother, as she's always been an adult when I've known her. By the way, this comes from Hot Plankton 1619, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. I have always thought family is important, and have always supported and given John space to have a relationship with his children. We have a friendly relationship with Emily, and I've always been very fond of her. John and I have 3 children together. Male 1, male 3, and male 6.
No, those are their names.
Martin,
M1,
M1,
M3, and
and
M6.
M6. I can be socially awkward and sometimes find people hard to read. I have ADHD and a flavor of autism, and this situation is eating me
What
alive.
flavor is it? Grape flavored? Grape
No, it's
flavored
it's-
autism?
It's fake banana flavored.
Ooh, I love that fake banana autism.
A wee while ago, I was at home with my 2 youngest, both of whom were ill with a virus. My baby was sleeping upstairs, and male 3 was on the couch with me, nursing a 40 degrees Celsius fever.
Man, I don't know what that is in American, but I feel like
Hundo.
it's like 128 degrees.
Nice, it's just 100.
127 hours.
Just 100. I had given him Calpol, and the fever was hardly budging, so I was a bit on edge. I tried calling John because I was concerned, but he was not picking up. My phone rang. It was Michael, Emily's partner.
And Emily is 30 in this story.
Wait a minute.
Emily is a full-grown
Yeah.
30-year-old woman.
Double checking. She's an adult turning 30.
Not gonna lie, once you turn like 18, the issue of I'm locked out of a place is fully
Yeah.
your responsibility now. That's already that is it. Also, apparently that's 104 degrees, which is that's a nasty little fever.
Yeah, 100, 104. That's the same
That
thing.
is a go-to doctor fever. To be clear, that is not the same thing.
Yeah,
And
100,
if you have a 104 degree
104,
fever, that is
give or
that's
take.
serious.
That's this. They're all the same after the hundreds. He proceeded to tell me Emily had locked herself out of her flats with her pets. Then he said I or John needed to come open the door as we have a spare key. Why wouldn't they come to OP then?
Yeah, did you throw your car keys into your flat and then no, again, this is on you.
That's full on you.
This is on you. Also, you don't have a landlord who could help with that, maybe? I don't know.
I will admit I was a little annoyed that it came out as a demand. My brain shuts down in that kind of situation. I wasn't in problem-solving mode. I felt like I wasn't asked for help or given any other option than to up and leave. I explained my situation. The baby was asleep, and male 3 had such a high fever I couldn't drive there, as it's a 30-minute drive. He hung up. I tried to call John 5 or 6 times to no avail. Over an hour later, I got a call that someone was picking up the key. I thought, brilliant, problem solved.
There we go.
Yeah, if they had not complained for an hour, they could have had the key and already been back.
Bingo.
Later, John told me both Michael and Emily were upset with me. I didn't exactly know what was said. I asked why they were upset. John explained that my lack of empathy for the situation upset them.
So we've got baby with 104-degree fever and
also just
full-grown
baby.
adult who locked themselves out of their apartment, and it's an entirely fixable solution.
We've got baby and baby with we got 2 babies.
Feverish baby
Fever baby.
versus incompetent adult.
OP has 2 babies she's looking after, and they said, "Hey, can you drive our round trip to help us get into our house?" No. They were upset I didn't call Emily to see how she was or that I wasn't able to help.
How to see how you were? You locked yourself out of your apartment. You're 30.
Figure it out. In hindsight, I see I could have done more, like send the key in an Uber or something. Well, they could have asked. They could have said, "Oh, I'm so, yeah, okay, understood. Do you think you could send an Uber over with the key?"
Literally anything you could have done short of driving the key over yourself is something they could have done.
Yeah. And also, if you had done that, I doubt they would have paid you back for that.
Yeah.
But my brain just shut down at the "come here now" demand because I physically couldn't. I also couldn't reach John. I see where I made mistakes and I could have done more. I will take accountability for that. I tried to call Emily later that night to talk, but she didn't answer. I sent an apology message to both Michael and Emily and apologized for letting them down. I also sent chocolates and animal treats to their house. No reply or even acknowledgement. Why, honestly, I think you're going too far. I think you're going way above and beyond what you needed to do, which was nothing.
Yeah.
You even sent treats and they didn't say thank you.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say, have you guys locked yourself out of the house before?
Honestly,
Yes.
no.
Yes, I have.
I have too. And guess how you solve it?
Yeah.
You break into your own house.
That, or you just try and figure it out yourself.
Yeah. I've never, fortunately, since I've lived on my own, had a key. I've always had keypads.
Yeah, that solves it.
Yeah. So I've never really, unless I'm at my parents' house, but usually they have.
Do you know how many times
That's not an issue.
I had to I didn't have a spare key or my parents weren't even nearby and I had to crawl through like a doggy door.
Oh, I've done that before.
One, I could crawl through the doggy door. That's not great, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else would try. But yeah.
Yeah. When I was in first grade, my mom pulled me out of class and because she had locked herself out of the house. And so she had me crawl through the doggy door to let her in. So I literally
thought those need
locks.
They I think they make some now where it's like you put something on the collar of the dog and it only unlocks once the dog is close by.
Well, to be fair, only like a tiny little first grader is able to fit through those doors.
Or a very small criminal.
That's true.
Like me.
Common one. The heck is wrong with them? You're innocent. OP says they're not talking to me. I'm going crazy thinking I've done something drastic. Reply, let me turn it around. They accused you of lacking empathy and not doing enough while you were caring for 2 sick kids. But where was their empathy? No one asked you how the kids were or acknowledged you had your hands full. Yeah, where was their OMG, how is your son with 104 fever?
Yeah, zero. Literally, there's not even a need for discussion
No.
here. These people are delusional.
The boyfriend just demanded a key and hung up when he heard your very valid reason for not going. Any normal person would have asked, "Oh, of course you shouldn't drag 2 kids out when they have a high fever. Can we send someone over to pick up the key?" They haven't asked how the kids are, but expect calls to hear how she's dealing with this big emergency. They had options if it was a huge emergency. A locksmith. Send a friend over to pick it up. They're adults. They should be more than capable to figure this out on their own. They're just mad you didn't jump through hoops to please them. If your husband says anything, stand firm that you had 2 sick kids and you were alone. And there is an update, but yeah, the thing is that OP's already kind of been pushed to apologize.
Yeah, what's up with your husband?
Yeah, which is crazy that your husband was like, "Yeah, I know you had a sick child and our other kid, but you should have dropped all of them for my daughter."
If this happened to me, I would genuinely crash out. I'd be like, 1, already my hands are full, but 2, that's not even my issue.
Yeah.
That sounds like a ish you, not an ish me block. Or like, mute them. I'm going to go take care of the kids. Figure it out on your own. You are adults.
Yeah, it seems like OP wasn't even rude.
No.
Just, she said, oh, well, like, my brain went off. I didn't know what to say. You didn't say anything unreasonable. You literally just said, I'm so sorry, I can't. Because I'm taking care of 2 kids, one of which is sick.
Yeah.
They demanded.
If they said that, I'm like, all right, first, don't point the finger at me. You guys got locked out yourself. If you need help, come to me and get the key. I'm not coming to you.
I mean, the whole vibe is like, it's like you left them at like after school, like an after school club, and you forgot to pick them up until 8, and you're like damaging them or something.
But they're
it's like
adults.
they're adults. What are we
They're fine.
talking about? By the way, one of your other kids is ill severely.
Ew. But there is an update. I want to start by giving my absolute heartfelt thank you to each and every single person who has taken the time to give me a comment. You have made me feel seen, heard, validated, and it give me a lot to think about and a lot of confidence. I'm thankful. Also, the world is full of really wonderful people. So many of you asked how the little ones are, and they have recovered, thankfully. Back to their healthy shenanigans. First, to clear a few things that were not clear, John was in the skate park with our oldest son whilst this happened. It is not unusual for him to be very bad at answering his phone, and they were in the sugar bowl doing tricks. It is extremely unfortunate he never saw or heard the calls. But when he noticed, he rushed home. He admits this would have been avoided had he answered.
It would have been avoided if your daughter was an incompetent loser.
Yeah.
Sorry, that might be a little too far, but
I don't know.
maybe
It's not
this
a
is the
incompetent loser.
boyfriend.
It's just the fact that she expects too much. I don't even think
the only
it's
person that was
incompetency. I
talked
think
to was the
it's-
boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it might just be the boyfriend being like, no,
I
they
think it's entitlement.
They need to be the ones who care
Yeah.
about us and you, and they only care about these freaking stupid little babies being sick.
You are entitled to listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yeah,
There is a little bit left to this story. Any thoughts?
This needs to be a talk with your husband about like get your daughter under control. Figure out if it was like, where's this vibe coming from? Is it coming from the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Honestly, like who's the vibe of I'm 30 and locked out? And I just want to say it was kind of unacceptable the way that you didn't reach out and make sure I was personally okay
Yeah.
while you were dealing with your sick, feverish children.
You can't win. I think that your husband needs to deal with this. And maybe he can be like, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't get to my phone. I would have helped. My wife couldn't do it. She was taking care of our kids. And also, Lucy P., I feel like we've gotten told that it was one way and then the other. I don't know. Now I don't know. Now I just don't know.
How do you say it? You say whilst, right?
I said whilst in this because we were told that it was whilst.
Yeah, I think that I always say whilst.
Yeah.
Is it whilst?
Whilst.
Wait, do it again. Like, say it right now.
Whilst.
Whilst.
There's a little bit left to this story. I spoke to John today, and he expressed he was unhappy how the whole thing folded. He is keeping a small distance to his daughter at the moment to let everyone cool down in the hopes that a bit of time will clear their heads, Emily and Michael, and hopefully could talk it out. He absolutely agrees I could not have gone anywhere and did the right thing. He did say he can see Michael using me as a decoy to divert Emily's anger of the situation to me and that it's unfair. He's being supportive of me, and he is a loving and wonderful father to all his children. I will update again if and when this is hopefully resolved. I will move forward and will move in confidence, knowing I have done what I could do to mitigate and repair any negative feelings. And if that is shut down by Emily and Michael, it's up to them. Thank you for everything. And that is the end of that story, and we've got another one. All right, are we ready for this next story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents took my child to my ex-husband's family, even though I told them no.
Kidnapping?
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Hi, my parents, 68 female and male, and I, 34 female, have never had a good relationship. Growing up with them was hard, and the minute I could leave the house, I never went back. We were too different from each other. By the way, this comes from Alarm Conference 938, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Please. And Opie says, my mom always bragged about how she was popular in school, a cheerleader, skinny, could make her own clothes, had many friends, was in the homecoming and prom courts, and was overall well liked. It does kind of sound like you peaked in high school.
When you put it like that, that's all. That's all high school.
Yeah. My dad was a quarterback in high school and college, then joined the Marines, retired, and went on to another successful career, retiring again. Okay, quarterback cheerleader moment.
Twice retired.
He is very charismatic, funny, and also well liked. This made others doubt me when I tried to tell them about my home life. I, on the other hand, was the weird fat kid. I was an only child, had a hard time making friends, was constantly picked on, had outbursts, didn't know how to control my anger, and was just overall a generally negative kid from what I remember. From an early age, I didn't feel like I belonged here. I didn't fit in with anyone, especially my parents, and they never let me forget it. My mom constantly reminded me about everything she had grown up with. By high school, I was convinced my parents just didn't like me.
So your mom's just constantly like, "Oh my God, it's so crazy you're so fat and weird because I was perfect
Skinny
and
and
beautiful
popular.
in high school and everyone loved me."
Yeah.
Have you tried being more perfect and beautiful instead of fat and weird?
'Cause
And
you
your
should-
mom's
you should
just-
try.
That's just your mom?
Yeah. Your mom is your bully.
That's crazy.
Which makes me feel like, what was she bullying kids in high school?
I would bet big money on that.
Yeah. They would create rules that had never existed before, then blame me for breaking those rules. They would accuse me of doing things that I didn't do. They never believed anything I said and would often compare me to others, saying things like, "Why can't you be more like so-and-so?" Fast forward 15 years to when I had my baby. I had been married for about 4 years to a man that my parents loved, which was one reason why I married him. I know, I don't really get it either, and we welcomed Charlie in 2018. I can say without a doubt that Charlie is all the best parts of me and my now ex-husband. Wait, what? Huh? Okay, you had been married? Okay. She's bright, beautiful, kind, creative, and loving. I will tell anyone with ears that Charlie is my reason for being here. She is everything good, and I don't deserve her. Whoever or whatever you believe in knew what I needed when they created her. She is my everything and the reason why I chose to keep my parents in my life, at arm's length, of course. They adore their grandchild and have been amazing grandparents to Charlie. I am grateful that she has an overall positive relationship with them. Now, in 2025, Charlie is almost 8 years old, and her dad's little brother, her uncle, 30 male, and his wife are starting to have children. I'm extremely happy for them, but we don't have a strong relationship. For example, when they had their first daughter about 3 years ago, after my divorce, I sent them a congratulatory text and asked if Charlie and I could come see the baby. However, I did not receive a response. Of course, that hurt a little, but I just brushed it off and figured Charlie would meet her cousins when she's on her dad's time. I used to let my mom take Charlie for weekend trips down to my hometown. We have a lot of family friends there that Charlie has never met or has spent little time with. I figured it would be a nice way for her and her grandparents to bond, plus she gets to develop relationships with our side of the family without my influence. This was until I found out that my parents weren't taking her to our side of the family, but making plans with my ex-husband's family for Charlie to see her uncle and their new baby.
That's
Literally, why lie?
That's not what we had agreed upon.
OP literally said, oh, Charlie can meet the cousin on her dad's time. So I'm sure she probably would have been okay with her mom taking Charlie to meet them
Yeah.
had she just told the truth. The first few times I found out about it, I thought it was a little weird, but I figured as long as they were also spending time with their side, then it was fine. That was until earlier this year when I discovered that they were not bringing Charlie around our side of the family and were only making plans to meet up with his side, which resulted in a few sleepovers at her uncle's house that I wasn't aware of. Now, to be clear, I do not feel that anything inappropriate happened. It was the shock of letting Charlie spend time with her grandparents, only to find out they were giving her to my ex-husband's family to spend time with. Yeah, why wouldn't... So not only does she get time with that side when she's with her dad, but now they're also taking time that should be with OP's side to give more time to her ex's family.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
ridiculous.
like that's just not what we agreed upon. Why are we
Yeah.
doing this?
Let's not. My ex and I have 50-50 custody. Although he now lives in a different state, Charlie spends every summer as well as most holidays with him. I have her through the school year and on her birthdays. When Charlie is on his time, I give them their space, and vice versa. When I found out that Charlie was not spending time with our side of the family, I asked my parents to stop giving her to his side when they had her. Of course, I was met with, "I'm bitter. Why can't she spend time with her cousins? Why do I have an issue with it? You can't tell us what to do." Well, yeah, she can.
It's literally
Yeah.
my kid.
Yeah, she can. She can just stop you from seeing her entirely, actually. Etc., just completely making me feel like an a-hole and wrong for asking in the first place. Still, I stood my ground and asked that if they wanted Charlie to be around family, then please take her to our side so she can get to know the people in our lives. Her dad can take her to see the cousins on his side when she is on his time. A few months ago, I let my mom take Charlie with her for a long weekend back home. They went to theme parks, the movies, and the playground. My mom was sending me pictures and everything, and I thought it was so awesome. Charlie comes back and immediately tells me that she also got to do a sleepover with her cousin. I said, "Oh, which cousin?" She said, "My baby cousin on my dad's side." I immediately looked at my mom, and she pretended not to hear Charlie. She's just there.
She starts banging on stuff.
Like,
what?
no,
Can't hear you.
no. What? Charlie, what are you talking about?
La 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 la.
She's just like, oh, look, the sky, huh?
Have you ever seen the sky? What's it doing these days?
I want to know. Have you ever seen the sky?
I told Charlie I was glad she had a good time and left it at that. I just imagine, like, she's talking, you're Charlie, and she's like, "I'm glad you had a good time."
Well, I mean, so at the end of the day, it just feels like this is all. This is
yeah.
an issue with your parents and not with your ex and
Oh,
his
yeah.
family. It's like, why are you taking her to his side of the family when she already can see his side of the family half the time anyway? It's like,
It has
it's just
other
weird.
cousins.
it just feels like you're just like doing this because I told you I don't want
you.
you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that just goes to a place of like basic respect. And it's like, dude, it sounds like your mom is just a high school bully
Yeah. And
who
she's like,
never grew out of it.
yeah. And she's like, well, it's my way or the highway. Which
And
is not how
immediately-
she gets to act when it's your kid.
Yeah, and she's like, you're bitter. It's like, yeah, no, I am bitter at you, not at my ex-husband.
Yeah.
I'm bitter at you because you do not respect me at all.
Yep. By the way, I would respect you guys if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Let's just finish her off.
Let's do a big swan dive into this guy.
Later, my mom asked when the next time they could have Charlie for a weekend again. And I told her that they are always welcome to drive up to see us where we live and spend time here. But Charlie wasn't going back down to their house anymore because they didn't respect my wishes. I was again met with how immature I am, how I shouldn't be keeping her away from family, meaning his family, and just basically how I'm wrong for everything. Literally not keeping her away from them. She always sees them when she's with her dad.
You've literally got split custody.
Honestly, I don't even know anymore. I don't know if I'm a good mom or not. Maybe it's best if I'm just not in Charlie's life if I can't make the right decisions for her. No. Please be kind. I can take it if I'm the a-hole and have constructive criticism or a way forward, but please hold the belittling. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. It's pretty scary they're taking her places without your knowledge or permission. It's only a matter of time before that blows up in their face. You have an absolute right to know where they take your kid, but I understand it's easy for me to judge. Comment 2 says, it sounds like your parents are pick-me's. They want everyone's adoration. You didn't live up to their popular kid expectations, and now they see Charlie as their little trophy to keep his family liking them. Who knows what they've told Charlie's aunt and uncle about you? Yeah, because they love OP's ex. They were like, OP's
Apparently.
ex is my favorite.
Apparently, he's the best thing since sliced bread.
You should take Charlie if you want her to have a relationship with your side of the family, since they seem to have been left out of her life. You may also want to reconsider those long weekends as well. Not to cut off time with her cousin, but to curb any future influence your parents have over your child. If they're lying to you about where they're taking her, you can't trust them with her safety. I know that seems like a harsh opinion, but do you really want them shaping her personality after the way they treated you? What happens when she starts saying or doing things they don't like? Comment 3 says, not the a-hole. Your parents have no regard for your parenting and following what you ask. As a grandmother myself, I would never disrespect what the parents of my grandchildren want. I don't necessarily have to agree, but I must respect it and not say a thing. I had my chance when I raised my kids. It's a privilege to spend time with my grandchildren. I would not do anything to put that in jeopardy. The only time I offer advice is if they ask for my opinion. Your parents have really done a number on you. My dear young lady, please, for your sake and the sake of your daughter, therapy would be a good idea. You sound like an amazing mom. Your daughter is lucky to have you. Big hugs from this old internet granny. And that is the end of the story.
Yeah.
Yay!
You're not the a-hole.
Not at all. And never
You're
get
not
into the
around
mindset
these
of like,
parts.
oh, maybe I shouldn't be around Charlie if I'm causing this issue. That's your parents speaking. It's not what is actually true.
Yeah.
I prohibited my stepdaughter to host a party, and now everyone is angry at me.
Why couldn't she just host the party?
My 24-year-old biological son moved back in with my spouse and me this summer to get his life back on track. This is meant to be temporary. I've been clear that by the end of January, he needs to have a documented plan, whether that is a trade school, a school, or something similar, and I have even set aside $10,000 to help cover trade school if needed. He's made some progress, including paying off about $5,000 in debt by working multiple jobs. By the way, this comes from username OKLeadership8776, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Vincent.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, so tell us what you would do in the comments. Opie says, yesterday my son told me, not asked, that he planned to bring a woman he just met on Tinder to stay at our house for 2 nights. We live about 100 miles from the city. My spouse was immediately uncomfortable with having a stranger stay in our home. I also had concerns because my son privately told me she is a recovering substance user and heavy drinker and has had legal issues, and she is only 22. I told him that if he were actually dating someone and we had met her first, that would be different. But bringing a complete stranger to stay for 2 nights, however, wasn't something we were comfortable with. This led to a broader argument. While discussing boundaries around strangers in the house, I told my spouse that I'm also not comfortable with my 17-year-old stepdaughter hosting a New Year's Eve party at our house while we will be a 20-hour drive away. My spouse had already told her she could have the party despite my objections. Last year, my stepdaughter hosted a Halloween party while we were both at home to supervise, and several random 20-something adults showed up after hearing about it. I had to ask them to leave, and I don't know how many more would have come if we hadn't been there. So I said that if we're saying no strangers are staying over for my son, same rule should apply for parties for my stepdaughter. No party while we're away. That caused a major fight. Now my son and my spouse and stepdaughter are all angry with me. I feel like that's a fair thing.
Yes, and I totally understand it. It's just the fact that your spouse already told her she could.
Yeah.
Why weren't y'all on the same page for that? Why did your spouse like go around you on that one?
Yeah, we're not presenting a united front.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering, as a weird workaround, like, is there like an aunt or like a cousin who would come to the house for the party and be like a supervisor?
A chaperone for a bunch of 20-somethings?
A chaperone for the 20-year-olds? I don't know, like, because I can understand that, like, it could get crazy if you're not there and you don't want it hosted, like, at your house.
Yeah.
So that's, like, the only really workaround that I could think of would be, like, can we have a more adult there?
I feel like I'm expected to help everyone, but I'm not allowed to set boundaries in my own home. We also have valuable sentimental items in the house, and I don't want to risk damage or worse while we're gone. Am I the a-hole for saying no to strangers staying over for parties? happening when we aren't home. Verdict, not the a-hole. We have some relevant comments. Commenter 1, is your son paying rent? If so, you're the a-hole. If he pays rent, he gets to invite whoever he wants over. Maybe disrespectful to go against your wishes, but rent trumps respect. As for your stepdaughter, unless there is an adult present, completely reasonable to have no parties. There's an edit. With new information, not the a-hole at all. And thanks for treating both kids the same and not playing favorites. OP responded, no, we don't charge him any rent. I paid off his debt in the past, but not this time. I told him that he can stay rent-free to pay off his debt, which he has, and until he gets a plan in place to help him move forward successfully with his life and save money to help him next year, he also gets free use of the second car. He pays the gas and contributes towards the increase on insurance while he is here. Commenter 2, not the a-hole, but why did it take having to say no to your son to decide your stepdaughter couldn't have the party? Why wasn't that addressed immediately? There are bigger issues at play in your marriage, clearly because you're not able to get on the same page. OP responds, I actually already had said no, especially as we will be away, but they chose to ignore my wishes and never listened. Everyone thinks I'm a doormat. My ex made the same mistake until it was too late. Being a nice person is not the same as being a doormat, but that's the way it seems these days. I am accommodating until I am not. Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like the issue lies more with your partner.
Yeah, because it was like OP was immediately like, yeah, like, no, she's not having a party. Like, these people aren't staying here. And partner was like, yeah, you can have the party.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what we said.
Yeah, and I wonder why people think you're a doormat. Just because you're nice?
Yeah, it sounds like you held pretty strong boundaries
I
here.
don't know what's going on here. Commenter number 3, not the a-hole. I bet you cover the majority of expenses. Best go ahead and tell them all to GTFO if they don't like it. OP, LMAO, yeah, that's actually 100% true. Behind the scenes, I have been paying the majority of things without any fanfare. I just knuckle down and deal with things behind the scenes. Now my income has taken a hit this year, sales job. I need to help pay the bills without getting into debt, but feel that it is not being received as well as I hoped. Commenter 4, not the a-hole, mostly. The only thing I think is off is that you're making the same rules for both. There are reasons in both cases to say no, but you're linking them saying, I said no to my son having strangers, so I'm saying no to your daughter. Isn't a link you want to make. If there was a different situation where you did say yes to your son to having a stranger over, a friend is down on his luck and needs a place to stay, for example, for a night, now you're asking for a fight with your spouse. I thought you weren't allowing strangers over. The son's case is a stranger 2 nights, and she maybe got some reasons why you don't want to necessarily welcome her into your house. Your daughter's case is not just strangers, it's strangers while you're not home, most certainly involving booze. She's also been proven not to be trustworthy before. Could not stop a party from getting out of hand, i.e. And there's also a legal liability on your end if someone gets hurt. Is your husband not aware of the risk? That's crazy. OP responds, I've explained that to my wife last time. We had 3 adults, including myself, to supervise the Halloween party in 2024. I said last time, no more house parties. House parties I am completely uncomfortable with. My stepdaughter thinks she's able to control everything. I know that obviously is not true, but teens. Commenter number 5. I can guarantee that some of the items will be stolen. More items will be damaged, and plenty of strangers will come, and that's if you're lucky. And if it's a great party with great kids who can control themselves. Someone will also be having spicy sleep in your bed. If you're unlucky, someone will be assaulted, or someone will drink too much and need medical attention, or someone will bring who knows which substances, also possibly resulting in a hospitalization. or they will also damage more than a few glasses and pillows. Why is your partner agreeing to this? I love how the comments are just, this is all the bad stuff that's going to happen.
Right. They're not helping at all. They're just like, it's gonna go bad.
Like spicy sleep in the bed. So they're going to be breaking your stuff, throwing up behind the couch. I've done it before.
Medical issues. They're really gonna throw up behind the couch.
Someone's going to do a top shelfer on your toilet. Yeah. All right, commenter number 6. Someone will throw up behind the couch and the police will be called, and the next day you will be fielding calls from angry parents and neighbors. OP, ironically, the neighbor's kids did this about 8 years ago, destroyed his house, and one girl had a psychotic episode and an ambulance had to be called. That knowledge lives with me to this day. Opie gives an example of the last time his stepdaughter had a small party. Opie responds, it was supposed to be the last time. She said 20, but the day of admitted she invited 40 to 50 people. Then more strangers showed up, the 20-somethings, etc., cars parked all over the dangerous road outside. We have an update. My son apologized to myself and my partner for not communicating ahead and agreed that he was thinking with his other head. He has also been a little depressed lately, as who wants to move in with their parents at 24? He agreed he should 100% have asked ahead, and it is probably a little weird to bring a Tinder date home he only just met once. He let his loneliness get the better of his judgment. He's extremely thankful for the help that he has gotten this year to get back on his feet, and I think the talk we had has given him some much-needed positivity, that things are not as bad as he feels. For the 17-year-old, we have come to a compromise. Her mom will travel on her own to deal with the out-of-town issues that we had to deal with, and I will stay home alone. She is allowed to have her friends over, but is limited to the agreed advanced guest list, no more than 20 kids or so, all local and all from her year in school. Anyone else who shows up, I show them the door. So more a Christmas class gathering than a house party. It will be closed and limited, no substances, etc., and no more than 4 cars in my driveway. By the way, you can listen to full episodes of OK Storytime just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast purveyor and look up OK Storytime. There's another relevant update to discuss, but...
Yeah, I mean, sounds like all is well that ends well.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you came to a compromise. I'm glad that your son is feeling a little bit better about where he's at. And the stepdaughter can, still feel good about having some friends over, but not get too crazy. Update. So, for the party, I will stay away on the other side of the house. It's big enough that works. I apologize for not having been more calm in my initial response, and my partner for not thinking it through, and also being too hard on my son initially. In all, things like this sometimes become a valuable learning lesson and a way for people to be more open about what is going on in their heads. It's getting it out so we can all address the issues and help each other. It's hard for everyone right now, especially the young out from college looking for a job and starting their life. Thanks to everyone on this thread for their input. Your feedback has been invaluable. And that's the end of the story.
Yeah, seems like good compromises and or just calmly explaining and talking until people are like, yes, this makes sense.
Until we can get on the same page. And
Yeah.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.
I'm so hot.